We're going live. All right. What's up? Oh, hold on.
Damn.
What's up, everybody? I meant to pause the stream. I almost ended the stream. We're back after Thanksgiving and the last week we missed. Um, so I don't know who else is coming. Now Retro said he wasn't gonna make it. Robert, who knows? You never know.
Robert,
So
we'll see him in about 30 minutes.
Sandstorm, who knows? Is even on the even when he's on the podcast, he's not on the podcast.
Damn.
But yeah, T's looking up because we were just talking about the portal and trying to remember how the gamepad connected to the Wii
thought
U.
it was Bluetooth, but I thought I read something
That's what
that
I was hearing was
I don't think
Bluetooth
Bluetooth's
originally.
I'm looking at. I'm
fast enough
close.
for a
I'm
video
close here.
stream. It used
No,
some.
it is Wi-Fi. It's broadcasting its own signal to the game. It's a it's a specific signal. Like that's what somebody's saying here.
It must because the
And you
thing.
don't. It's not. It's obviously not internet Wi-Fi, but it's the Wi-Fi signal that connects it to your
Yeah, it's in
game,
the
your console.
gamepad and the gamepad or the gamepad the gamepad and the Wii U had just a direct
Yeah.
link signal. It doesn't going through any network or anything. And we'll talk about why we're talking about that in a second. But that reminded me of something. I feel like we might have talked about this before, but you know how everybody talks about, oh well, this you need an internet for this and this to happen, so that 10 years from now your system's gonna be dead if it's not connected to the server anymore. You know, like, oh, you won't be able to use your system anymore. I think as much as we love the Wii U, I think in it, it's not like there's a lot of them out there, but that has the biggest like brick your system thing, and that is the gamepad because you can't just buy a freaking gamepad. Can't get a refurbished one or buy a used one from somebody, and it won't work with your Wii U. And it just unless there's some kind of hack that you can do. There's nothing Nintendo has allowed for you to. So when your gamepad dies, you pretty much your Wii U's almost useless. You can barely use. You can't set up anything in the settings. You can't set the TV. You can't set your surround sound set, your
No.
audio settings. I'm pretty sure you can get into a game with just the Pro controller,
You can play a game, but
but
you can't do like what you're saying.
that's even though I can use the Pro controller, the gamepad is still connected. I wonder what happens if if you like pulled the battery and just your gamepad just wouldn't turn on, if the Wii U would function
Maybe
properly.
that this won't work. Maybe
And
we'll say no gamepad present and it won't work.
what's up,
Damn.
Donnie? What's up, Jay? What's up, Lenny? Yeah, and I think like it's sad because even if somebody like repaired your gamepad or you could buy refurbished, like there's no connecting it to your Wii U. It's slave to your Wii U, and that's going to be a big problem when I mean just you could plug it in, so if the battery goes out, you could always just leave it plugged in and it would work. But if anything goes wrong with that, whatever the signal is, the gamepad or the gamepad gets smashed and is completely broken, you're kind of fucked. So
I'm sure some savvy tech guy will come along and figure out
something
how to do it,
you
but
probably
who knows how long
if you
that will be.
crack it or whatever, homebrew it, there's probably a way to just completely avoid the gamepad. Should probably
Could
do
be.
that before.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that's another thing. It could just be in software. You can
While the gamepad still
maybe
works,
figure out.
I should do that because there's a lot of cool stuff
Yeah,
you
I'm gonna
can
try.
do.
I'm gonna try it tonight when we get off. See if that shit works.
I watched a video on the Switch Pro from this DIY guy I'd never seen before. It's not DIY Perks. It's this other. I think he was an American dude, and he took one of the day one Switches and he hacked it and he overclocked it and he did all this like extra stuff to try to cool it down. He put like a metal back plate with all this like weird kind of thermal compound. He thought if he could keep it cool, it would help, and thermals wasn't a problem. Even overclocked the thing's not a problem. Um, that's why I said Nintendo didn't do it for worrying about the thing
Yeah.
overheating. They did it for battery life
No.
and battery life only, and to have the portable and dock mode be identical. That's the only reason they did it. Anyway, so he did all this extra work. He made a dock with this big Noctula fan in it, and he's like, yeah, that didn't do anything. The overclocking didn't even really do anything except the memory overclocking, the memory speed. That fixes a lot of issues with Switch games that have stuttering and stuff. So, um, yeah, I just thought that was interesting. But uh, I thought he was gonna get into the OLED version, which has the way more efficient CPU, and apparently you can do some soldering if you know what you're doing, and you can crack that and overclock it. But there's not a lot of, I don't even know if there's a video on that, anybody overclocking the OLED, because that chip is way more efficient. And I'd be curious to see what that maxed out, how much improvement you'd see in games. But anyway, what'd Sally say? I think there's more technology in the Wii U gamepad than the new Sony Portal. I don't know. I think it's just.
Yeah, it might be.
I think it's just.
I think that's a worthwhile argument.
I don't know that the gamepad could do anything without the Wii U though. Like, is the chipset like people say? Oh, you can only emulate up to PS1 with the Portal. Does the gamepad have any chipset that could do any on its own? I don't know. I will say the.
Well, we talking about practically. We're not talking about like hacking it and doing that kind of stuff. I don't think.
But if you're talking about like people are saying, oh, you can't emulate on the Portal because the chip's really weak. But I don't know if the Wii U has anything in it that could do anything separate from the Wii U or the gamepad. But what is the gamepad? It had the 4 speakers that actually the audio was pretty good on that. If you were just playing off TV. Other than that, it has a headphone jack and standard controller. I would say it's probably pretty close. I'd say the Portal probably gets it because of the haptics feedback and the DualSense stuff. But yeah, as far as like what the Portal can do, that's one thing. Watch a lot of videos on it because it's something not at $200. I'm not interested at all, but it's something that would kind of fit a need that I have right now. But there's just too many negatives. The biggest negative, like we were talking, is it doesn't direct connect. So let's say you just want it for off TV play. Let's say a football game's on or somebody's watching something and you want to use your PS5, or like me, I don't want to be sitting on the couch. I just would rather be laying in bed. It's certain times I can't be sitting up as much, and it's just to lay in bed, have a pillow on my stomach, and just be able to play like I do with the Switch would be great. But it has to go through a network, and the connections just depends. It's not guaranteed a good connection, even if you're right next to the router. And like I was saying, I forget which video it was. I think it was Digital Foundry. They showed the native or the signal coming from the PS5. They had a way to just take it directly from the PS5, like what it's outputting at its best on PC. Isn't that great anyway, and it's 1080p with lots of streaming issues. It would be almost better just to stream from like any other platform that's cloud streaming, some kind of cloud server, that way you wouldn't even need a PS5, but that's a whole different device really at that end of the day. But if it could just direct connect, but everybody pointed out, the PS5 has Wi-Fi 6 in it. There's no reason for the Portal not to have Wi-Fi 6 so you get the best possible connection. But like they said, it only needs 15 megabytes per second because the output signal isn't that great anyway. So the biggest flaw is what the PS5 outputs anyway, in my opinion, for my use. That's in the latency for games like Returnal, like Elden Ring. You're talking hundreds of milliseconds in some situations. You're not gonna be able to play any of these tough, demanding games that are reaction times crucial. So it's like that's the type of game I would want to play on it, is Elden Ring, like a longer game where, like, yeah, if I could squeeze a few hours at night in bed instead of sitting up on my couch, that would be ideal. But you're not gonna have a chance. Sekiro, I just beat that. I had to plug in my controller just to get that little bit extra response time so I could beat the final boss. I was like, I noticed my buttons were just slightly delayed at times, so I plugged in the cable, and I think I beat him within 2 tries. After it could have just been luck or coincidence, but I feel like that had a factor. So unless you're just playing a casual turn-based style game or just exploration, not a lot of intense combat, I honestly, Spider-Man 2, I think somebody said they
showed that a lot. People play that a lot.
Somebody said they played the whole the whole game on it, and sometimes it was better than others, but that one's a little more forgiving. But you still got to hit those that triangle button to counter moves and stuff on the tougher enemies. So it's like if you can't even rely on that, then it's like, to me, it's dead at that moment. I mean, forget everything else. For my use case was an off TV in my own house way to play my PlayStation 5 games. That's the only thing I was interested in. I heard the screen was nice, has all the DualSense features, got me excited, and then everything else just kind of turned me off.
Yeah, I didn't look. I don't think I looked probably as extensively as you. I looked decently though. I think one of the things that I thought was kind of baffling, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong about this. But from what I saw, people trying to use this like at a Starbucks or a McDonald's, and you try to connect to their Wi-Fi, it doesn't have a way for you to like, you know how for most of those you have to like open up a browser to accept it. From what I understand, the portal doesn't have a way for you to do that because it doesn't have a browser.
Yeah.
So you actually can't even use it in like
Some
generic.
places.
You can with using your phone as a hotspot.
I know, but I'm just
right, and you do that, and then what? And then like you're talking about lag. So you're going through crappy public Wi-Fi through your cell phone hotspot, then to the apps.
Actually,
Man,
I don't know if a hotspot works through Wi-Fi. I think it only works through your mobile data. I don't think you can do a hotspot from connecting to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I think you would use your data. I think you
Yeah,
would use your data for that.
it'd have to use.
You can. I've done it.
Can you?
Yeah, I do it all the time at work. You can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't know. But yeah, either way, like,
Well, you're not using your data.
I think the reason why I even brought it up was because I just thought it was like, I'm like, so let me get this straight. You created this whole portable, extension of your PlayStation 5 that doesn't even work in, at least to me, it should work at least basically in any like public Wi-Fi setting. And the bitch doesn't have a browser in order to even get on most guest Wi-Fi.
I've never been to a place other than an airport that had that. So that was when I heard that. It must be something in. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Airports, hospitals for sure, like clinics and whatnot.
Well, I mean, honestly, if I'm going to a place to eat or something, I'm not looking to connect to their Wi-Fi. I've never had a reason to, but so that's why it was strange to me to hear people say that. But I don't live in a big city. I don't go out like a ton.
I just thought, to me, it just doesn't.
Well,
it's just,
I go to Starbucks especially when I was in college. I go to Starbucks all the time and just fucking hang, do work, and yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, I mean, I figured some of these places have Wi-Fi. I just didn't know there was like some kind of pop-up screen.
Yeah, it's always like it's like an agreement screen. It's like all you click is I agree, and then it just.
I seen that at the airport, and it was absolute garbage. Even after it was all pop-ups, it was all.
I think it only bothers me because when you recognize that that's like a thing, then it's like, so is the best scenario the house scenario? But even from what you've looked up, Juice, that doesn't seem to work well.
Even at its best, like, yeah, it's an 8-inch screen, so it looks okay. But even at its best, the PS5's the signal it's outputting it's 1080p with a lot of this typical streaming stuff you see watching shows.
Artifact and everything.
Artifacting them. God damn the cat. She's going for Pyra's sword. Hold on.
But just to continue the point while he's dealing with his cat, like when you can't even do the most, I'm in my house playing the game and I gotta worry about this potentially shitting itself. To me, that's just a terrible fucking product. Like I don't even understand what the point was if the house experience is still debatably like hit and miss depending on the signal from your Wi-Fi or from the PlayStation 5 itself.
Because if it would have been a direct connect option, within my small house's range, it would have been direct connect. I'd probably, even at 200, I'd be a little tempted if I could get like really low input latency PS5, but it's just not the way.
It's a cool device to have. For me, it seems like it makes more sense. But for like a guy who's on their own and doesn't have kids and a wife and all that kind of stuff, I don't see why they would care as much. Like for me, it's like, okay, I want to play my PlayStation 5, but I don't want to be cooped up in my man cave all the time. I want to at least interact with my family. That is a cool device. Yeah, I can go out in the living room and just like hang out and interact, remind them that I'm here and I'm alive, and play my game. So that's cool. But for somebody who doesn't have to deal with that in their house, like I don't understand the use case for them,
Yeah,
other than like,
honestly,
okay, laying in my bed, maybe I can still play some
I mean,
PS5.
it was a niche appeal to begin with.
Yeah, it
They
was always niche, which is fine. I had no problem with
I
that. Like,
yeah.
I
I
don't
did a
think
lot
they.
of research myself. I watched a ton of videos. I like replied with people, go back and forth, and asking
I
questions
don't
and
think
whatnot.
they even made it to like be this huge thing for that. I don't know.
No, I don't think it was. I mean, it's going to be a niche product regardless. It was always going to be
I
niche.
will
I just
So,
feel
say
like
everyone agreed that
it's
it's like really comfortable though, like because it's basically the DualSense grips a little bit
yeah. But I was
smaller.
saying, people, if you do you like the DualSense controller? Yeah, okay, then yeah, you'll be fine.
yeah.
Like
See,
what?
that's kind of my biggest issue with it though. Like, because they seem to have gone pretty all out as far as the control of it. Obviously, it
And the
feels
screen,
like
everybody says the screen
DualSense.
looks
The
really good.
screen is really nice. The build is good. It feels really comfortable. So they did all that right. Why you miss up on pretty important other things
Now
You
and
mean like the
somebody
main
suddenly
thing
says
it's
say,
there
"Oh, home
supposed to
is
run."
do?
there is a web browser part of the OS, so they could possibly add that option to do the agreement for the Wi-Fi, but that'd be one thing. I think the biggest issue is just like I said, the PS5's it's not it's not best at streaming, like outputting some streaming. Like that's even if you have the best
'Cause I don't
connection, it
think
still doesn't
I don't,
look amazing. You know, it's like
Charge
yeah
250 for that bitch, and I think people would have been fine with that. You
yeah.
could have charged. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have went all out, and maybe it wouldn't have been as niche.
yeah,
I
other
I, I
other
would I would have thought
services.
about, oh, you need a PS5 still,
I think
but
that's the problem.
if it didn't require a PS5 and I could do like cloud streaming from this Sony's network or whatever, I might just say, maybe I won't get the console, but I'll get that bitch just to and then sign up for a PSN or whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways they could have took it.
Like I
Know,
just
It's
don't
just
understand,
it's
why
a
did you go
weird
this route?
device as it is currently. It's kind of a weird device because now you have a device that kind of doesn't do anything great. Like
Yeah.
and now it just feels kind of like
yeah, because if it like I said,
$200 for this. Like
if it
that's
had
what
a
it feels
direct
like.
connection and you could get like you don't need a 4K because the 8-inch screen 8
No.
1080p is fine.
Yeah,
If
of
you could
course.
just get
I
a
think
direct connection,
1080p is pushing it.
solid connection, like for me, I would if I seen one in stores, I'd be tempted, because spontaneous buy. I wouldn't like seek it out, but it's one of those things you see in the store, like Steam Deck. If the Steam Deck was in
It was
store,
in stores. It
I'd
would
be a
sell
lot
more.
more. There'd be a lot
Yeah.
higher chance one day I walk in and see one sitting there, the new OLED one, and be like, "Damn it, I'm buying it." Like
But
that could happen.
I thought Valve was a bigger company. I'm surprised. I saw the evaluation. I thought, they were bigger. Maybe that's why they haven't gone that route. And, because you go into
That
a
adds
store,
to a
then
lot
you're
of
having to
costs,
pay. It has a lot of costs, right? So,
shipping, and I mean they're already putting it in a box, but it's pretty basic, right? It's just
yeah.
wasn't it just like a plain box?
Yeah.
No, it comes in a case. It comes in a really nice case.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The
I thought you were talking
outside
about the
box
portal.
though, does it have any kind of? I'm talking about the
Oh yeah.
packaging,
The packaging is just a
brown
which
box. In
I'm
it.
I'm actually fine with because
They
I
could
don't want
just put a
nobody
slip.
knowing.
They could put a slip cover over it for retail.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty. It looks like a box you would get going to the post office. It looks pretty basic.
Like Lenny
brown.
says, 100 to 150 people would probably consider buying it almost as a second controller, but you can't use it as a controller.
That's to me that's the biggest like omission. Like, why wouldn't you at least allow that?
At the
Like,
very
that
least,
would-
yeah, have
Come
a
on.
second controller. But that's funny. I heard somebody make that argument about like it's a device for watching movies where you have to pay. You can get like a download for like a full file size of like a master of a movie, and it's called Kaleidoscape. And the movies are like $30 to $40 to download, but the device is like $10,000. And it's like somebody's like, "Oh, if it was only 100, everyone would buy one." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I don't think so though. Like,
I
not
don't think so.
like people won't even spend $300 on a 4K player. I don't know that they'd spend $400 on a device to download high quality files instead of just like I just think that there's a certain market for things, and this is kind of completely different because this product is completely niche. You're just gonna, if you need it, you're gonna buy it. If you have the money, you're gonna buy it. You know, type of thing. And they can charge.
And there's also, I don't know if this is one of the motivations for Sony putting this device out, but there's also some shadiness that's attached to it, because they're basically telling like people who count retail sales and all that kind of stuff. They're basically telling them to count this as a hardware
as a
device,
console.
like a console, like a Sony console.
Yeah, that's right. I did hear about that.
Which is, because they're trying to reach their 25 million, and this would count towards that 25 million in hardware. So I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah, that's kind of hoed.
Wow.
I wonder how many they manufactured at this point, though. I don't feel like it's a lot.
That's my question, because everybody's talking about how much it's selling. It seems to be selling when it's sold out. I'm like, well, how many have they sold? Like, did they put out 10,000?
I didn't even see like a
pre-order numbers.
I don't remember seeing anything pre-order. Let me see if it's still if Best Buy even shows.
I always see people,
Ooh, Sonic Superstars is $39.99 for Cyber
That's right,
Monday.
buddy.
Nah, we're good.
PS5 version.
Nah, we're good.
I think that's every version, eh?
Yeah, every version's on sale.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Switch version don't look so good. I know that. I thought they developed for it, but when I saw the breakdown,
the game doesn't look so good. That's not the Switch version. That's just
Switch
the
version
game,
looks
bro.
like poo.
No, it looks fine to me.
No, the game. Well, that's a whole.
Go ahead, man. Get into it real quick.
See, that's the thing. When it first showed it, my first thought was, that art style doesn't do anything for me. Like I can't believe people are excited.
I agree with that.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not a.
Art style's nothing special.
No, it's not. It's just, hey, let's use 3D models instead of using pixel art. And
why don't they just do it 2D?
Not bland, but uninspired. It's a little uninspired.
Yeah, actually, that's a better descriptor. Uninspired.
More like the new Super Mario Brothers. Like.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I feel like this is.
I thought the Switch version looked all right till I saw like the comparisons, and I'm like, whoa, they did scale it back way more than I thought. Just to try to hit 60, which I don't think it does.
I'll be real with you, I haven't been overly concerned.
I was gonna buy it just to.
It fails 60.
I was gonna buy it just to balance the world out because Terrell bought Mario Wonder, and I was like, I'll buy Sonic. And but I just couldn't bring, especially after Hogwarts got a price drop down to 40.
Even at $40.
No, listen. So Sonic Superstars is one of those games that's what you probably should buy it at, is around 40, because it never needed to be 60. And then I looked at the reviews and I saw what people's biggest two issues with it was, which is one, the game is kind of rushed, and two, and T, you may know this, when you play Sonic boss fights, if you're good enough, you can kind of cheese it and get extra hits in.
Yeah.
If you go look at any of these games, any of this game's boss fights, it's one of that like hit, and then you wait about 2 minutes before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, I'm not doing that. I've done those boss fights. I hate that kind of waiting shit.
Yeah, that's even John Digital Foundry, he was like, yeah, these boss fights are annoying as hell. Like
just stretching it. It's just like artificial, stretching.
And he's the biggest Sonic defendo that I've ever heard.
And it's in the game is glitchy. I've seen a good amount of glitches, people phasing through floors and shit. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm not.
Who's the biggest Sonic defender you ever heard?
John from Digital Foundry. Like that dude is.
Well, let me tell you about RGT 85.
Well, if you remember,
damn,
when the Forces review, when he justified its
Sonic Forces,
it's just a double. There's nothing wrong with a AA game. It's only $40.
It's not even a AA game. What the fuck?
No, it's not.
People were.
That was his whole basis.
And it's a Sonic the Hedgehog game, so there's no. I like you. Sean.
He could. No, it's middleware. He's like, there's nothing wrong with middleware, and because of that. I made a comment.
It was so out of character.
Don't be capping. Yeah,
we lost
character for him.
We lost a Juices Loose crew member because of that incident. I won't say who. Someone can figure it out, but he.
Oh yeah.
He was getting into that crowd with RG and OJ and Spawnwave, and he did not like me criticizing RGT. What is it? RGT 85?
85.
Yeah. Him criticizing him for calling Sonic, saying it's okay for Sonic to be middleware.
It's not.
It's
That's
not
disrespectful to Sonic. That's implying Sonic.
It's your mascot, company mascot. No.
Yeah,
You
it's
can do that with other
disrespectful.
things. Yeah, it's disrespectful to
Absolutely.
the product.
I thought
Absolutely.
Superstars look like it. I mean, it's better than some
It
of the
does.
big
It's not like
disasters.
it. It's not like it's a terrible
It's a
game.
No,
seven.
It's
it's a
just,
decent game. It's a decent game. It just has
but
these little
it
weird.
has a couple things about it that I'm just like I'm not willing to put up with. That I used to put up with it when I was younger.
My
That
man.
those boss fights, I'm just like I'm not. Nah, you ain't. Nah, I ain't about to wait 10 minutes to finish a boss. Not for a Sonic game. The fuck, like I, I'm
See, I don't
going.
remember I don't remember not liking the Sonic Rush bosses, but I did hear them compared to that, and I don't remember.
Sonic Rush bosses are
Hmm.
slow too. That's
They're
actually
slow,
part.
yeah.
That's
That's a good
part of the. That's
comparison.
like the only thing I don't like about that game is the bosses. It's that fucking tit it, and then he's doing all these dumbass animations.
this
You're gonna
bullshit,
dodge a bunch
yeah.
of shit, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, 5 minutes later, ha! Well, that's two.
And you wait
Fuck!
again.
Like, god damn it! I'm not about to. I'm just not
Nah.
gonna do it. And
We're
then
not
on top of
doing
this game has multiple playthroughs. Absolutely not. No.
Nope. Hell no.
I know Sonic fans who were like, just play Sonic Story. You're good. Don't even touch the other characters. What about Amy and Knuckles and nah?
Nope. Nope.
You ain't want to do them boss fights again. You good? It's not even the levels. It's literally you don't want to do the boss fights again.
Boss fights, yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah,
about
because
to,
like you
I'll
have
wait.
to play the boss fight to replay a whole level. If it has a
Yep.
boss in it, you have to play the whole level and then
Yep.
the boss fight.
And I'm just
So-
like, I'm gonna wait. I'm not. It's not killing me. I have Mario and Mario RPG. Like I'm good.
Have you
I'm
played
covered.
it before?
What are no? This is my first time playing RPG.
Oh, that's cool.
Did you start it?
I was, yeah, I started it. I started it last week. I am surprised. It's so fast paced. Maybe I don't know what it is. It just it feels like I'm constantly doing something, and I'm like, damn, I don't remember a game being like this. Like, here's a story beat, get into a boss, do a level. I'm like, damn, this is moving quick. I'm used to a little bit of meandering. This game doesn't really have meandering at all.
No.
Like I get to the village, hey, I meet this cloud man. This crocodile stole my grandfather's coin. Doom, and then you fucking go get the coin back. Oh, that's not gonna be a two arc thing. Nah, you get that bitch back in like 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, you get back to the damn town. Oh, it's invaded. Whoa, wait a minute. Like it's such a rapid. He's struggling with that cat dog. But it's such a rapid succession of like just shit constantly going on.
Yeah,
and it's weird because I'm not used to an RPG not having any downtime.
the pacing and the writing is super snappy. That's why.
Oh, absolutely. Mario is the most like animated here, and I fucking love it. His willingness to strangle a child is hilarious to me because
you got to realize. I mean, obviously, you probably have some idea of it, but it was so refreshing, like because we never had seen Mario like in a mainstream game anyway. You have other little side things that he's been in, but to see him in this light, it was like the first time he's in an RPG. He's not jumping on things. Well, walking around, doing platformer stuff. He has a full on story, and he has characterization, and he's dealing with other it was like mind blowing in 95 when this came out, maybe it was it 95 or 96? It might have been 96.
I love that his characterization is mainly a guy who is not about to put up with your shit. Like that's like his running gag of like,
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna put like there's a portion where it's you and Mallow and you're about to go into the pipe into the sewers, and I was curious. I was like, well, Mallow goes first. I wonder, can I leave with Mallow still in the pipe? If you leave, my run, hey, don't fucking leave me. And I was like,
They thought of everything when they came.
It cracked me up. And then he'll do in the beginning when you first recruit him, he's like, will you help me get back my grandfather's coin? I'm like, you know what? Let me hit no. I'm just to see what happens. Motherfucker starts crying and shit, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm almost fine with that. Now, obviously, you have to say yes to progress the story, but I like the inclusion of giving me a no option and actually doing something. I agree.
I hate the
Hell,
games where the no option.
Fucking Pokemon doesn't even do that shit. So shit, I'll take it. God damn it.
I love the fact that Trell's bought 2 Mario games in a row.
I know you're just like
with a new Sonic game out there getting unbought. I love it. So Sally said Sonic Colors on the DS was the most addictive Sonic game she played.
Colors on DS is great,
I
but I
played
think Colors in
Rush
general is
on
great.
DS and I liked it.
Colors
I don't
is
think I
to
ever played it
me.
on DS.
Colors is essentially Rush. Most people call it the Rush trilogy and include Colors as the final Rush game because it's still that style, but it adds in the stuff from Colors like the whiffs and the different powers and stuff. But yeah, Colors on DS is great. It's one of the few times where the console and the DS game are both good. And then I got the Lost World and realized, yeah, don't pick up the 3DS version. Don't
Oh
fucking
no.
do it.
Oh no.
Because they fucked that level design up so bad. And I was like, no, you stupid fucks.
What do you
Listen, I
think
can't.
the Sonic Colors Ultimate Metacritic is? Just
Oh, no, it's
randomly.
trash. It's fucking, it's, they don't pick that version up. You
Wait.
get the
Oh,
original
this
Wii
Colors
version.
Ultimate? Oh yeah, yeah. I know it's bad.
Yeah, get
I'm
the
gonna,
original.
Let's
Don't get
look
the
up the
Ultimate
Wii
Edition.
version
I'm gonna say it's in the
because
sixes.
it was like 74.
Oh really?
I
Yeah,
That
felt
high?
like
that's nicer than I thought
based
they were
on
going
the
to be.
footage
That's
I
pretty.
saw,
Yeah.
it had a 78 on Wii. I feel like that game, and I said this, you guys disagree with me back then. I said I feel like it was so highly regarded because people were surprised at how good it was for a Wii, like a 3D Wii game. Like, I, I, I my assumption was based on what I saw of the gameplay and the Ultimate, the remaster was people would.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
more. The Wii was for a Wii game. I think people were surprised at how good it was. Not to say the Wii didn't have good games.
no, I disagree. I think
Yeah.
honestly, I think it's better than its. I think it's better than its Metacritic. I think I think when it comes to Sonic games, like the good ones get brought down because there's like a lot of really bad Sonic
Yeah.
games. And I think Colors had Sonic like been a consistently good game, I think Colors would probably be 80 to 85 even.
Yeah, the
like,
problem, people got to realize Colors was like the first Sonic game in a while that was completely a good game. Like, and I hate to say it that way, but I have to because the game before was Unleash. Unleash is like half good.
Yeah.
Then you had Shadow and 06, which were both just bad. Then you had the Wii games, Secret Rings and Black Knight, which use a completely different control scheme, and you're just kind of like, oh, I gotta hold the Wiimote like this and tip it forward, and I'm like, fuck, this is not gonna cut it.
Who
Like we
this?
went a good stretch of time, at least, I want to say at least 5 or 6 years of either getting mediocre or bad games.
Bad.
So when Colors came out with a whole new voice cast and everything, we're like, oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's still Sonic though. Like
I think it got some points deducted because it was Sonic. I think had it came out after a good Sonic game, I think it would have got better scores.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Colors gets a lot of shit. I think Colors is overall praise. The Ultimate Edition didn't do it any favors because fucking Sega didn't handle that one directly. I think someone else ported it and it wasn't good.
It still
and I
surprised
hated
me, like just looking at the original on Wii, how good it looked.
People don't give Colors enough credit. Colors,
I believe they don't give it. It's not giving enough credit.
Colors was a
And I want to
visual
say, I don't know if
marvel.
it was 60 on Wii or not, but
No, it was 50.
no.
You mean when it
60
launched?
FPS, 60
Oh, you're talking about FPS. Yeah, it was 60.
my bad. I thought you were talking about price.
I'm pretty sure it was 60. It felt like it, at least.
It felt
my
like
memory.
60. I don't know because it's
Look
been
it
a
up.
while since I played it. I've only played the
That
original.
Was, yeah,
'cause
that was Wii. The DS version was a different game, obviously.
yeah, it was two different games, but that's back when both versions were viable.
I like that pixel art
Oh.
Sonic way better than Superstars style. Just watching the DS footage.
I'm surprised you didn't at least try
I
like
just looked
maybe.
it up. I looked it up. It is 60 FPS on Wii.
Yeah.
That's why I figured. Okay,
And it was only 30 on Switch. Am I right about that?
Yeah, can we not?
So,
Can we not talk, hey, man?
Oh,
How do you fuck up a remake of one of your best games in that era? and you
honestly,
just
like
win?
That's not a hardware. That's not a hardware issue.
I think they pushed for
That's a-
1080 is why it probably.
It,
I mean, it looks good. The Switch version looks good visually. and I think
Like,
they went.
Sega's in a weird.
There was a
been
Wii U
weird.
version, or is it just playing the Wii game on Wii U?
No,
Because it looks
no,
way
no,
cleaner
it's
on Wii U.
it's the Wii on the it's the using the Wii emulator on Wii U.
Oh,
Yeah.
because it looks
Because
better.
the reason why they even ported Sonic Colors, because Colors was only on the Wii up until that remaster came out.
Right. It was
Like,
a
the
Wii
only
game.
way you could play it was
Yeah, I
that
really think
way.
they pushed the visuals a little. They were going for almost PS4 level visuals and dropped it.
It's
to
partially
3.
because Colors has a couple spots in it that look like a graphical marvel. Like, if you go look up that it's I think not the amusement park, but the fucking Starlight Carnival. That's what it's called.
Carnival looks fucking.
I was
gorgeous.
like, there's like a shot where you see the fucking like ship teleport in like on some Star Trek shit, and it's in the background, and I'm just like, this is fucking gorgeous. But like, they give me my remaster, and I'm like, why did y'all do this? Why did you?
How did you do this?
Why did you fuck up? Like, I hate when you fuck up good games. Like you want to port Unleash and make it a better game, sure. Don't port Colors and make it a worse game. That just makes me fucking mad. Because now it's like, which version should you play? The Wii version.
The Wii version.
There's been some other remasters that have been the worst version. I can't think of
Oh,
any
yeah.
off the top of my head.
Oh, you mean like the Metal Gear Solid one?
Crystal Chronicles.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid. I don't know what the hell they did with that.
Konami just makes me angry at this point.
SpongeBob. Battle of Bikini Bottom.
Yeah.
Maybe it's fixed now. I don't know. But
no, it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
There's a couple of RPGs I'm thinking like.
It's part of it. It's partially because they changed the engine. They use different like the fucking. I like Unity, but I don't like Unity enough.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
What game just came out that's running on Unity? That was like, what? Why'd they use it? Was that the Mario RPG? Something?
Yeah, Mario RPG.
RPG's Unity, yeah.
That one is fine, but I think that one partially works because it's an RPG.
Craig.
As an RPG, I think it works, but like you can't do like. I think people think Unity is better than what it actually is. Or motherfuckers just don't know how to use Unity. I don't know which it is.
I don't know.
Some people use it and I'm like, that's a Unity? I'm like, oh,
sometimes,
shit.
yeah. Sometimes it looks great, but
yeah, I can't tell if it's the engine or the developer. Sometimes it feels like it's
probably a little of both.
I don't know if people are going to keep using it. Aren't they going to charge like a fee for each
Well,
game?
no, they backed away from that. And they fired their CEO.
Yeah, they got their ass whooped on that one.
We'll say, why'd you hire that guy? That's the guy that like, what was he from before? He was EA? Was it EA?
I think it was EA.
And he said like
that was your first mistake.
He said like developer or I think developers are fucking dumbasses because they aren't monetizing in their games enough. And I'm like, oh no, that's the guy you hired to run your company? Like, no,
man, motherfuckers don't understand.
Yeah, they got rid of his but the damage is out there. It's
still pretty bad because now it's like you're a company who hired him.
Yeah, you hired him and you allowed him to do that.
You let him to get as far as he got. I'm like, Dad, you need to.
Like,
you need to.
The minute he said that, the board should have had a fucking meeting and said, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, because you about to ruin us real quick. Oh, God.
So a game
hopefully they can recover.
A game that doesn't use Unity, I'm pretty sure. I picked up Black Friday. Hogwarts Legacy.
So all right, so here I want to preface this real quick. He's about to gush about this game for like the next at least 5 to 10 minutes.
Trigger warning.
So have your. I want you to have at it, Juice.
That's not where I was going, but I will say I'm enjoying it. But I know Robert hates this word objectively. If I look at it objectively, if you're not like a huge Harry Potter fan and love the movies, you might say it's a little. The quests aren't like super engaged and stuff, but I'm just like marveling at everything I'm seeing. So it's like, it's hard for me to just not get caught up in that. But like,
have you seen all the movies?
Have
you seen all the movies?
Yeah, it's like I think the Harry Potter, original Harry Potter 8 movies is better than the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So. It's a better accomplishment. I wouldn't say it's spread out over more movies. The actors grew up, and
I would agree. I would agree with that
because the fact that the consistency, even though they changed directors,
I would say the consistency,
the actors turned out to be the kids all turned out to be great actors. They had, they hired classic amazing actors for all the adult roles. It's just everything about it, production qualities, everything was top notch, and I love it. But there are a few little things, the little changes, like the grand staircase. Instead of having staircases move, it's just like a simple like stairs disappear. It's like a circle. They had to scale down some stuff. They changed, like, you go down to Hagrid's place, which just takes place hundreds of years before, but instead of like
So
being
maybe they didn't change it then. Maybe it just hadn't evolved
well,
to what.
it just you go by his house, and it's like a road to like some other town that's wasn't in the movies. Maybe it was in the books. I don't remember. There's a few things that changed, but anyway, I'm really enjoying it. Um, I agree, T. Now that I've played it, it should have at least been nominated for sound design. The voice acting's top notch. I can't say there's one person you would like nominate for the acting. There's it's a big ensemble, so it would be hard to pick one person to like to nominate for like best performance. But sound design and visuals, I don't know what the other categories are. It should have at the very least been nominated, and I don't know if it qualifies as an RPG, but I would call it an action adventure.
Well, they got some shit in there that ain't really RPGs. So it qualifies as good as those do.
Game of the year, I mean, for me as a Harry Potter fan, but like I said, objectively looking at it, I could see it's not blowing me away gameplay wise.
I didn't need it to do that. My thing was it got no nominations whatsoever, and that's just completely bogus. There's no way.
Yeah, I think
people were gushing over this game. Like I haven't personally played it myself. I've seen people play it, but I just see people who didn't even talk about Harry Potter before gushing over this game, and it's just like, well, clearly this is going to be like the Elden Ring this year, and
it sold well.
obviously, and it sold really well. It's still what is it? Top? Is it top 7? No, top 7. That's I think it's number 7 best-selling game all year or something like that. And it's just like, well, it sold 15 million copies. I know that much.
And I guess there was a big resurgence when the Switch version came out. They had a big resurgence on the other platforms. So, unfortunately, the couple reviews I watched back when it came out made it sound pretty average. One, Girlfriend Reviews being the biggest one, which they're usually pretty fair. I mean, and they made the whole review. Half the review was about how people were trying to cancel their channel.
That's why I couldn't even follow that review, because it's just like they got so much crap.
And they were just like, in the end of the day, we were kind of making fun of the game because of some of the quirks. But Angry Joe's review, even before I mentioned it, I just happened to see Angry Joe's review of it. Like, I started watching it, and it wasn't like I was doing other things, but I had it on. They were loving the game, and I'm like, damn, like. So that's when I started thinking about possibly picking it up, and then I watched some other stuff, and forget who else gave it. They were talking good about it and combat, and I was like, man, honestly, and Robert's not here to get mad about this, the story is leagues better than anything in the Fantastic Beasts tried to do. Like, it's so much better than Fantastic Beasts.
I don't think that's controversial.
It's not really hard to do, but Robert probably would get mad because he loves them. I think he loved those movies, at least the first couple.
Nobody else did.
Right? This is so much better of like a storyline to do, prequel back in the universe. It's just I'm really gripped by the story. It involves somebody's coming in as a 5th year. It's your create a character. One of the, I guess, negatives I would say visually is anytime you have a create a character, that has to fit all these different hairstyles and different outfits, your character stands out compared to the really highly detailed, set characters when you're doing cutscenes and stuff. But
did you read A.B. James's comment in there?
Which one?
The last one he wrote.
3D World is just under 10 million. Is that the Switch version?
No, A.B. James. Read A.B. James.
Oh, A.B. James?
Yeah.
There we go. I see the 3D All Stars. That's what last thing he said.
Yeah. Did you read the whole thing?
Oh, 3D World that's the Switch 3D All Stars. I thought it was like I saw All Stars. I thought it was Mario All Stars. Wow, it is now, huh? I sold it too soon.
Yeah. I tried to tell you, hold on to that bitch.
Oh shit!
How does
I got 2 sealed copies waiting on.
I'll pay for a couple part of your Steam Deck.
There you go. There you go.
So how does Hogwarts compare to open? I haven't really gotten too much into the open world part of it. I actually, for me, I'd rather it just be in the castle grounds. I didn't need this big expansive area to explore. I would actually rather. I would have liked a mission where it's just like finish a day of classes, do the classes, have tests. Like I wanted to be I wanted to be a student at Hogwarts. It doesn't have that,
Wow.
unfortunately. But I'm enjoying it, and
That seems like a
visually,
nerdy PC game that should happen.
at least have a quest where like I have to participate in a class or something and do
No,
something.
I'm agreeing with you. I think that's a cool shit. I think they should do that.
Visually, it's on PS5. It has stunning moments all over. Music's great. The sound design's great. The voice acting's great. I'm really enjoying it, and if I had known how much I was gonna like it, I wouldn't had any problem picking it up for 70. To be honest, got it for 40. The game already sold really well, so I don't feel too bad. Look at my cat; she's trying to get Leonardo's sword. God damn this guy! Anything. That's why I called her Murphy, because anything that can happen will happen.
Yeah.
And she's not She's not afraid by any yelling or any noises. I have to get up and get her.
Ironically enough, I keep seeing Hogwarts at like number 1, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, maybe that. I think number 7. I'm thinking of Starfield.
You are.
Starfield is number 7. Okay, that's what it was.
It sold really well, though.
Yeah, it sold. I know it sold. I remember last time I checked, it was like 15 million copies. That was a couple months ago.
So, and the Metacritic's not bad. I think it's in the low 80s, if I'm not mistaken. 84, maybe. It's like
83, 84. Yeah.
So I have 13 hours in over the course of 3 times I played it, or 3 days I played it.
Did you say Murphy? Yeah, boy.
That game has some charm to it, but also looks kind of jank in some spots.
It looks jank. I mean, it is a AA game, which is fine. Yeah. But man, does it feel good and fun to play? It feels like RoboCop 3. It feels like the RoboCop 3 movie we should have gotten.
Anyway, back to Hogwarts.
We all over the place.
The other reason I want to bring it up, besides, I think other people pointed out, it got completely snubbed from the Game Awards, and we know it's probably just to avoid the. And I can't necessarily blame, because I think that stuff's died down, but at its peak, there was some serious people trying to cancel people. Anybody who watched or streamed the game, it's just ridiculous. And the fact that the reason they were doing it is because JK, she had nothing to do with this game other than
nothing to do with it.
And it has transgenders in it. And it has they gave they shouldn't be mad at all. These people should have been happy. That's
and if it's like, oh, you're trying to boycott it because you don't want to give her money, you ain't hurting J.K. Rowling ever. You're not hurting
Fantastic Beasts then, because she wrote and produced all that. That was all her.
And it didn't do well. They didn't do well, so you got it in there. Like, this has nothing other than the IP, has nothing to do with her. And it's just like, I felt terrible that the game was getting punished.
People who made it, they actually put the stuff in there, and it's like I don't know in too many games where
they did it just to spite her. So
and the combat's pretty fun. It's just a solid game. So I played it for 13 hours last night. I was like, all right, before the podcast, I'm gonna search for just Harry Potter or Hogwarts Legacy Switch gameplay. No video, just like somebody playing the game. And I thought, on my phone, first video I saw, I was pretty impressed on my little 5-inch screen. I thought it looked like it was running pretty smooth, but man, I watched about a 25-minute video of somebody just playing, basically doing a couple missions, exploring outside Hogwarts, into Hogsmeade, inside Hogwarts, And I will say, this is my personal opinion, I think it looks to me like the most compromised game multiplat on the Switch, outside of Mortal Kombat 1 not being finished and the first version of Ark Survival or whatever. I think it's the most compromised game on so many levels, from visuals to the performance actually is not very good in a lot of areas. It's very stuttery. The open world is no longer open world. You have sections. Hogmeade is met with a 50-second loading time. Anytime you go in any shop, you're met with a 30-40-second loading screen. Every time you exit, 30 to 40-second loading screen. I think IGN, somebody said it's the most loading screen since outside of Starfield that you're going to see in a game, because anytime you do anything, you're met with a loading screen, which to me, that's a big sacrifice you have to put up with to play the Switch.
Right.
Because you go in and out of shops like nothing. Like
Wait, what are you talking about?
every time you enter on the Switch version, every time you enter a shop, it's a 30-second loading screen in and out. Hogsmeade, going to Hogsmeade's a separate area. That's like a 50-second loading screen. Go back to Hogwarts. As soon as you leave the bridge, it's another 50-second loading screen. On PS5, there's like 4 or 5 second delays before the door will open, kind of like Metroid Prime. You know, the doors, you shoot them and they take a little bit. I don't know on Switch I think they're longer, like 10-15 seconds. So to me, they cut all the lighting out. There's none of the amazing lighting. The visuals are scaled way back, and the performance is really choppy in some areas, like really, really choppy. I just think it's overall the most compromised game. That being said, if that's all you have is a Switch, it looks like it would be, playable. It's not like unplayable any stretch of the imagination, but it reminds me of Skyrim on the 360. My buddy at work was telling me every time he went anywhere, it was like a minute long loading screen in and out of going into a house, talking to somebody, leaving the house. It was like long loadings, in and out. And to me, that would really drag down the experience. So,
I mean, obviously, like Witcher 3. Obviously, the tech is a bit older than Hogwarts is.
I think The Witcher 3 looks significantly better on Switch than Hogwarts.
And that's what blows my mind. Like, what kind of wizardry? Because you're talking about shops and going, like, there's so many houses or pubs you can walk in that game without loading. You just walk in and then you continue on. How does the Switch make that happen? I played the game. I stopped playing it on Switch, but I played it for like 25 hours on Switch, and it felt like I was playing my Xbox version. Obviously, visually not, but just nothing changed as far as that stuff.
And
went,
it still has like the lighting and the volumetric stuff. Like, the density of the forest didn't change. However, the Switch version, they cut half the density of the wood, and the trees are just 2D cutouts. Like until you get close.
I saw a difference. Like the sky was just like a blue panel instead of.
But when I first saw it on my phone, I was like, "Oh, that looks pretty good. It looks like it's running smooth." But as soon as you get outside, it's pretty stuttery. The frame pacing, which is a big talking point, but it's real. Like that. You can have 20 out, like you said about your Zelda video, a lock 20 with perfect frame pacing. It's going to feel smoother than 30 FPS with terrible frame pacing, because that just feels juddery. Every time you turn the camera, it's juddery. It's not the frame rate slowing down. It's just whatever the frame pacing is. It just creates judder. And I'm just like, it sucks because, like I said, The Witcher 3, which I thought looked pretty bad on Switch, all things considered, looks significantly better to me than Hogwarts does, because Witcher 3 kept all the advanced features, all the lighting.
Sound like you were saying. It sounded like you was talking about something else. You said Harry Hogwarts.
I keep wanting to say Harry Potter, but it has all the charm. I will say it has all the charm of the Harry Potter movies.
Welcome to Potter, Mr. Hogwarts. Like the fuck.
It sounds like the bootleg version.
That's when you find that weird porn of Harry Potter that you didn't know. Welcome. Time to get your pots planted, Mr.
Welcome
Hogwarts.
To Harry Potter. Oh no.
Try to get your. Let me see your expectus patronum, Harry. Like the fuck.
I can't wait to learn that. I'm about to learn. You learn Leviosa, but now I'm learning Wingardium Leviosa. So I don't know what the difference is. Wingardium Leviosa. But yeah, it's just
British.
It's just crazy that I know people were praising it because it was better than they expected. But when I watched, like I said, I told you, Once I saw it on the TV, I'd be playing it on. I was like, whoa, like that doesn't look so good. So
Oof.
it's not the worst port, but I feel like they had to do the most amount of compromise to get it running at all. And the biggest one to me is all the extra loading and the segregating of the open world. That to me is just like it's like a different experience at that point. Technically the Switch, you could argue, is 2 generations behind, so it makes sense. But the Switch does have fairly fast internal storage. I don't know what size it is. I don't know what the file size is on Switch. I know there's like a 14 gig install or 7 gig install, even if you have the cart.
Is it?
I'm guessing it's like a data thing.
It's probably the memory bandwidth.
It probably won't run. Yeah, it probably won't run for shit straight off the cartridge. So I'm guessing the entire game is on the cart, right?
I don't know. It sounded like a day one patch type of thing.
Okay.
But apparently it spawned a lot of sales in the other versions because of it coming out, and that's
look at that. The Switch version pumping up the other versions.
I don't know if that's cool or sad. I don't know.
I think the PS4 or 5 version re-entered the UK top 10 or something that week it came out. So
that's the power of the Switch, y'all. Make you buy games from other consoles.
Yeah, somebody accused me of that when I bought Hellblade on PC. Oh, you're only buying it because it's coming to the Switch. And this was during the era where I was shitting on the Switch constantly. So it was like the dumbest thing, one of the dumbest.
It was a weird take.
That was why you did it.
And then that same person also said, "Why are you paying $60 for a game? You could pay $1 and play it on Game Pass for $1."
I knew that's what you were talking
about. But no. The thing is, that game was never set $60. It was $30 at launch. It was $30. They
yeah. It was a low or say lower budget. Well, is that a lower budget?
They tried to take a risk. They said, "All right, we're going to sell it at 30. Try to sell more copies at 30 than try to sell at 60 and have less copies." I don't know how that worked out for them, but
I think it worked out pretty well. I think they should have sold it at 40 though. I think that would have been a good.
So I supported it and I enjoyed it. Then I bought the Switch version for like $7 at some point. Just so
I bought that game 3 times now.
I have it. I have the Xbox One version sealed. I didn't get a chance to try it because I didn't have a system to play it on. I bought it in anticipation of having the Series X, and honestly, if I would have showed up at that Meyer parking lot, who knows?
You had an Xbox One. Anybody tell you to sell it? You had a
I was never gonna play the S.
Didn't you?
I honestly, the S showed me a lot of what the PS3 era did. Like having the weakest hardware that no one really gives a shit about is not. And when you want to have it for multiplats, is not the way to go. For me, anyway, in a generation, because.
So like Nintendo, the last couple generations, yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, as far as like you had the Series or the Xbox One X, you had the One X, you had the PS4, PS4 Pro. At that point, the One S was like, especially the multiplats, they just it wasn't very good most of the time, and I was like, I'm never gonna have the weakest hardware for like. The one developers aren't going to try hard for ever again. So, and that happened with the PS3. I never bought any of those crappy ports, but I heard about them. I seen them, watched reviews.
I did because I didn't know any better. That's how I got introduced to Bayonetta. Was that shitty PS3 version?
That's when I became
broke my controller.
That's when I became a first party, mostly only PS3 owner.
Mm-hmm. There's some
some of
those first party games was impressive. Like, how the hell is this on the PS3? And then you'd see what the 360 is doing, which is technically less powerful, but it was way more user friendly for
the 360 was more optimized.
And then you see like Gears of War 3, and you're like, this looks just as good as fucking the best.
As anything, yeah.
You know, so
it took Sony a minute. They got into their bag.
You didn't even have to worry if you had a 360, you bought a multiplat, it was gonna run good. You didn't. There was, unless the game was just like a Warriors game or something, you didn't have to worry. That's, You know,
and that's when I thought, man, all those times I ate ramen noodles so I can pay for my $600 PS3.
Damn.
I don't know what was I thinking.
That hurt my soul because I know what that is.
I bought one at the very end of the shortage where people were trying to get them for like $800-900 on eBay, and I paid.
Like, that's
my
insane.
girlfriend's like, "Oh, the FedEx guy just walked in where she worked. He said that he just dropped off PS3s to GameStop on by the mall." So I was like, "Oh," I ran out there. I bought
Me
it.
and my friend.
I put that shit on eBay, and it went for $750. It's like, all right, I made a little money. And then like the next morning, I was checked my email, and the listing had been deleted. I'm like, what the fuck? Some girl's eBay account got hacked by somebody in like India or something, and they bid on it. And then she reported it. She saw the transaction, reported it, and they canceled my. I said, you know what? That's the only bid I got in like a week. Luckily, it was at the last day I could return it. I took it back to GameStop and just said, yeah, I ended up getting one from another place. I told my girlfriend to buy one, and she bought one the same day. And so I ended up with two, and they took it back, but I think they knew I was full of shit. So luckily I got my money back, because even when I paid $300 for the used one later, I got 4 Blu-ray movies with it. I still one of my least favorite purchases of all time.
Spider-Man 3 came with that bitch.
I got Spider-Man 3. Girl at work gave it to me. I got Hancock with
Hancock, yeah.
I got Quantum of Solace, which I actually kind of liked that movie last time I watched it.
Quantum of Solace?
007. I liked it better than fucking
God bless you. God
Spectre,
bless you.
that's for sure.
That movie sucked, and there was a reason why it sucked.
But when I rewatched it, knowing that it sucked, I kind of thought it was better. It was way better than I remembered. Anyway, I got that.
Jesus.
What else did
the best thing about that movie was Olga Kurylenko. That's it. That's all you got.
I feel like I got it. I had another, maybe 1 or 2 movies. And also, I got some games, which I traded in and got Metal Gear Solid 4. So he gave me I got 4 games and 4 movies, and the system, the 80 gig version, for $300. And I ended up buying 6 games total. The whole generation. I bought 2 MotorStorm games, Metal Gear Solid 4, Modern Warfare 2, The Last of Us, and Uncharted 2. Those are the only 6 games I owned for that system. And I was glad when I sold it not that long ago. But anyway, the era of, remember when the PS2, it would get a solid version of the game, but the difference between the PS2, GameCube, and the Xbox versions, the PS2 version looks
dookie.
It was way downgraded, and
it looked worse. It definitely.
That's what everybody bought it on, and so that was kind of a weird generation.
Because PlayStation 2 got everything. It got everything. If you had a game coming out, it was on the PS2.
And I remember people being surprised at how good Resident Evil 4 actually turned out to look, because the difference in power was fairly significant between GameCube and PS2. Yeah. But they did a pretty good job. It looked way better than I thought it would.
Which is crazy, because their systems, as far as launching, were only a year apart.
Yeah.
For it to be that significantly, Nintendo went in on a GameCube, man, and unfortunately,
it did not pay off.
No.
It did not pay off
sucked,
at all.
We always talk about this.
It paid off for the nostalgia and everybody's love.
But
sales were were not happening, and Nintendo put the pressure on their development team. They had to get Sunshine out. They had to get Wind Waker out, and I don't care what Retro says.
Don't do it.
Waker,
don't do it. Don't do it.
Did not feel like a full Zelda game to me.
Damn.
It didn't. And I didn't even know that. I didn't know any of that. I just bought the game. I was happy with my GameCube. I played it, and I'm like, this is it? It's over? I know he gets mad when I say there's 4 major temples, but there's 9. But the two fortress ones, to me, that never really felt like a Zelda dungeon to me. But
you mean the stealth missions
down,
and then the
Metal Gear Link.
There was a temple in the main island you started on. I forgot about that one. back when I was. But anyway, it just felt like, where's the rest of the game? I
No,
was
I mean you
disappointed.
just felt it. Yeah, I it's both Wind Waker and
Sunshine.
Sunshine. I just it just didn't feel what I was expecting it to feel
Because
like.
how many times did you have to pull tentacles off a stupid octopus or squid or
Yeah,
whatever?
like it was just like,
Wind
we're doing
Waker,
this again.
you're refighting bosses. This the I
And
necessarily
this is not opinion. This is fact. This is
the
documented fact.
sailing,
We know
just the time it
what's
took
going on.
to
We know what
always
happened.
change the wind and stuff. Like that's why that game took 20 hours to beat. It's probably 15.
We gotta
I
stop
used to
doing
get-
this weird GameCube hate thing.
And
'Cause I
like
thought
every
this was
time you
happening
wanted
right
to
now.
open the
It
map,
just
you had,
creeps up somehow with
The
juice.
GameCube's in the back. The GameCube's in the back. Like I didn't even say any fucking thing, guys.
every time you had to
Damn.
open up the map, you had to like find the stupid fish jumping around, and you had to change the wind because I was like, I'm trying to like sneak over. I'm like, I ain't gonna make
Bro,
it. So I had to
if I
change
was
the
fixed
wind.
that.
And then you gotta
They fixed
feed
it in
them. Then you
HD
got
version.
this unskippable cut
If I
every
was the-
time, same
if I
dialogue.
was-
Then you opens your map, and then it's like,
No. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why they fixed it in the HD version.
yeah.
Because there was nothing. There's nothing wrong with it.
If I was a GameCube right now, I'd be mad as fuck,
I'm
bro.
just
These
saying,
people
you
just
could
keep kicking
tell
the shit out of me, bro.
Nintendo's level of polish was not in play for those two games. I didn't like buy a ton of like the first party games on the GameCube and the like I didn't buy the RPGs and all the games. You know, I didn't fully go all
What were
in,
you
but
playing?
I had a lot of third party games. I had Burnout 2, I had NFL 2K.
Burnout 2 is amazing.
I had a couple
Burnout
Maddens.
was amazing at
I
one
had
point.
a NASCAR game. I
It
had
got ruined. Fucking E EA.
Tiger Woods. I had a lot of EA games that generation.
EA was fucking phenomenal that generation. I had a ton too. The Lord of the Rings games were amazing on GameCube.
I had Smash, Melee, Sunshine, The Wind Waker, Eternal Darkness, which technically was second party because Silicon Knights that developed that one.
Which one?
I don't think it was
Metal Gear?
No, it wasn't. Was it?
Metal Gear? Yeah.
No, Eternal Darkness.
Yeah, that's Silicon Knights.
Is it
too,
okay?
yeah.
Then I had Metal Gear Solid, which is it's not a first party game.
Right.
I had Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil 4. Mostly third party games, honestly. Rogue Squadron, Super Monkey Ball
Rogue
2.
Squadron.
I had one.
That was
and
the
two.
showcase piece. That was the fucking game you put in and said, "Hey, the GameCube ain't messing around,
No
bro.
shit.
Check
It
this.
still looks good.
Check this game out, bro.
What else? Did
What's
I
it?
have?
PS what? Nah, GameCube. Check this out.
Dolby Pro Logic 2. You had the actual 5.1 ish surround sound. It went 480p. All Nintendo's published games supported progressive scan with the component cables. 480p. 60 FPS. I had F-Zero, which I sold. I had Star Fox Adventures, which I traded. I traded F-Zero, I think, for like $4.
Another game that felt uninspired.
I traded that in. I found my for F-Zero. I found the trade-in receipt. I think I got like $2, $3, $4 for it, trading it in.
God dang, that's disgraceful. Disgraceful. That game goes for $100 right now.
It was at Best Buy too. I don't know why I just took such a low amount. Because I took a bunch. I think I had some Dreamcast games or Xbox games. I ended up getting like $12 towards whatever game I bought, and F-Zero was one of them. But I had quite a few games.
Like GameCube.
I mean, I had
GameStop.
quite a few GameCube games.
Love people like you back in the day.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
Oh, I had Metroid Prime 1 and 2. I had quite a few GameCube games. I sold most
Yeah,
of
you
them.
gotta have the Prime games.
I had the Ocarina of Time for the Wind Waker pre-order bonus. I had Ocarina of Time on there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last time I played it was on GameCube. So literally the last
Really,
time
I couldn't play it because it's like this don't feel right.
I played and beat it. What else?
I haven't beaten even Ocarina of Time 3D. It's gorgeous. It's just like I'd rather go back and play the N64 version.
I did play the
It's just-
N64. Or no, I played before I sold that GameCube copy. I went back. I was save file was right before the end. We have to climb that tower and you have to fight Ganon, but there's those diagonal jumps when the floor disappears that are like it's the very max Link can jump, and if you don't take it just perfect, you fall down. You have to climb back up over and over.
That's why you wear the float shoes or whatever those shoes called.
I don't even think I had those.
Ah.
But yeah, that was probably my least favorite part of the game, was that fight, that interaction, the jumping and falling. But anyway, let's get on to the main topic I had picked, because I was thinking about this, and I don't know if we were talking about the sales, and I might have brought it up then, but if we look at all Nintendo's major IP at this point, we'd have to bring up the Switch sales chart. I kind of feel like almost all of them, except for a few, the best-selling game in the series is now on Switch.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
think it's like for most of them.
other than 2D Mario
I don't know. Let's see.
and Donkey Kong, because it didn't.
You're not gonna beat 60 million or whatever it is.
I think it was like 3840 on Wii.
Where the hell is?
Oh no, I was talking about Super Mario Brothers.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that's right. I thought the Wii version was the highest though, at like 40 something. New Super Mario Wii. I thought that was one of them.
It's time to go look.
But
it might be. I don't know. Maybe it beat it.
When it's like, Pikmin, obviously, I'm guessing Metroid Dread is probably now the best selling. Maybe not. Animal Crossing,
I'll check real quick.
Mario Kart, Smash, Zelda. 2 Zeldas are the 2 highest selling. 3D Mario, I think Odyssey's the highest.
Let's see.
Paper Mario, I'd be curious about. Luigi's Mansion 3's, that's by far the highest selling.
Yeah, Dread is the best selling Metroid.
Mario Parties, I'm thinking.
Let's go check.
And it's just like, why didn't they put
out? That's the series. I was like, what? 430 million.
Why the hell didn't they put out a fucking F-Zero Wave Race? The Switch is your best chance of these games selling, really, like getting your money back and making money. I'd be curious about some of the smaller, like WarioWare games.
I'm checking things.
Mario NES is 40.24 million copies.
What's New Super Mario Bros. Wii? That probably, obviously, that was bundled. That probably counts.
Yeah, but it's still a sale.
Yeah.
Some of those bundles for sure.
I want to say Wii was
a lot of
right
those
up there.
bundled,
I'm gonna guess high 30s to low 40s.
I think it's 30 something. Yeah, I think it's like mid 30s. Let me look it up. New Super Mario Bros.
I'm looking up. Well, I got Wario on one tab, and then I'm looking up like.
Yeah, so no Star Fox on Switch. No True F-Zero. No Wave Race. No.
30.32 million.
Oh, that's it, huh?
So, yeah, as of September 23.
So the Switch, I don't think Wonder's gonna be the best.
No.
But Splatoon, obviously, there's only 2 of them, but the last Splatoon 3 did really well. Donkey Kong, probably Country on those. I don't know, that was like 6 million on the Super NES.
I was gonna say you ain't beating that. I don't think you're not beating it with the Wii or the Switch version.
I wonder what. Yeah, Tropical Freeze combined, Wii U and Switch is probably not even that.
Because Wii New Super or Donkey Kong Country Returns on Wii, I know that's 5 million. I know it's.
Oh wait, that might be the highest selling.
Donkey Kong Country Returns on Wii.
I think that
no.
Now you might. Yeah, you're right. It's in the 5s.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot though. There's not a lot of IPs left. Fire Emblem. I'm curious.
I knew the 3DS had it for a while.
Let's look up. What do you think's the best selling?
Awakening is the best. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country Returns sold 6.5 million. So that's your winner. That's your winner right there. 6.5 million.
Three Houses is the best selling.
Yeah.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is now. Yeah.
Okay.
Engage wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't that as high. Fire Emblem's been on. It's funny when I say best selling, and then you go look at the sales, and it's like, how much you sell? 2 million. Damn, that's crazy.
Like Fire Emblem.
No, Fire Emblem, I think Three Houses is at like
3 something.
yeah. Actually, Dread's best-selling game, 3 million. Damn, that's crazy. Sold as much as Tomb Raider did.
It finally cracked 3 million.
Yeah.
No, Donkey Kong Country sold 9.3 million, according to Google.
Oh, okay, well, that makes sense. That's yeah.
So yeah,
That game was. You talking about a game releasing and blowing people's minds? That was 94.
That came out on my birthday, 94, and I beat it the night. Like I got it that
But-
night, and we had it beat before the sun came up. And I was like,
But you had like, Sony had just dropped the PlayStation that year. I don't think it beat Donkey Kong that year. I think it was a little later in the year.
People were saying,
But-
yeah, the Super Nintendo has better graphics
People
than
looked at the Super
PlayStation.
like, yeah, it was like, what? Oh, and poor Sega with their 32X nonsense. Like,
That had the FX
Donkey Kong
chip in it,
Country
didn't it?
completely destroyed. Yeah, it was FX chip. Completely destroyed anything Sega was trying to do with their peripherals. Like it was like, what? I can get that on the base Super Nintendo. I don't have to buy some big hulking, piece of hardware.
I wonder
and
what
stick it in
Nintendo
top.
had if they had to eat the cost of selling that game at normal price, putting that chip in there. Each cartridge had to have the Super FX chip.
I think those games were a little bit more expensive, if I'm not mistaken. The Donkey Kong
I
Country
want to say
games,
it was 50.
they were probably $10 more expensive than most games.
So yeah, I mean, most of the best selling of each.
I don't know. Maybe they did eat the price. I don't.
Damn, I didn't realize. Damn, Three Houses sold almost 4 million. Sorry, I got caught up.
What about Bayonetta 3? That might not be the best selling.
No, I think it is. Hold on.
So
Let me check.
yeah, it might be.
Hold on, let me check. It depends if you count Bayonetta 2's both of their ports.
It's right at 1 million. Just over 1. That's right. It was just over 1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it was
Bayonetta
on the
2
million
didn't
sellers.
hit it.
It was on the million sellers.
That was in February. I bet it hasn't sold too many since. 1.04 million. And Bayonetta 2 didn't. Yeah, it's Bayonetta 1 sold more in the 360. It was 1.35. Oh no, that might be combined. I don't know. Either way, the point is, a couple points I want to get to. One is why not release some of these games, these IPs that haven't had games in forever? It's like now is the Switch is the time.
Because Nintendo's really.
I said this 2 years ago.
I know, but
Listen. Nintendo's mantra in releasing games has nothing to do with logic, and that's the problem. Okay, it's very much they gotta feel like it. There used to be. I used to think there was some rhyme or reason behind it. I have now recognized there is no rhyme or reason. You gotta catch them in the right mood when the moon is up on a Tuesday night at like 7:55 p.m. Like that's it. You gotta catch them on the right day.
I always said Switch is the perfect test the waters console because the install base is so ridiculous. You're gonna sell at least 1 million copies. So put the budget, in place. And like, it's so egregious to me that this is the console that Star Fox skips and F-Zero skips,
F-Zero,
Donkey Kong skips, and then like, how is this the console? You got Wii U versions of these games, and we can't get them on the Switch. You got Wii U ports
and I'm
of these
betting,
games, and we
Xenoblade
can't get them
Chronicles
on the
3 is
Switch.
probably the best selling.
No, it's not.
No, 2.
It's 2.
It's 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Xenoblade 3 is at like 1.86 million. Xenoblade 2 is at 2.44 million.
Yeah.
The better game.
Yeah,
is
Star Fox.
selling.
I mean, even if you just did a true on rails Star Fox, that's just don't just remake the original like you always say. Give us something fresh, give us something fun gameplay, good visuals, and have them go to a different solar system or something. Something completely fresh.
Give it to Bandai Namco. Give it to Ubisoft. That team that did Starlink. Like, they clearly love Star Fox with that storyline they put together. Like, that was fucking phenomenal.
Although, Juice, your point earlier, the Switch Mario parties are the best-selling Mario parties.
I figured
it's almost by the one that came out. Not even so. Mario Party Superstars, the newer one, is tied with the DS as the second best selling Mario
the
Party.
original one that came out in 2018 when
18.
no,
That one's
when
at like
what, Mario Tennis, Mario Party, one other
golf.
No, that came out years later. There was 3 lower tier AA single A games, and then Smash right before the year ended. In 2018. And then
But fucking
ports.
the Super Mario Party is at like 18 mil
Yeah, it's
going
ridiculous.
on 19. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm also surprised that Mario Party didn't just naturally sell a lot to begin with, because it sold well. It always sold well,
just,
but it
and now, I mean, I don't know what Dread hit, but it feels like
3 is at 3 million.
Tears of the Kingdom had a huge opening week. It was like 10 double digits, I want to say millions. But
Yeah, it was like 18.
I'd be a little worried, like, is Wonder gonna be a 10 million seller? Is it, are we gonna, at some point it's gonna slow down like the sales, but I don't know. I'd be curious to see what Wonder does for this year. In the few months it'll be out.
I don't know. You bundle that bitch after the next Switch comes out. You bundle that bitch for $200.
Well, that's the thing. They're bundling the Switch OLED with Smash Brothers, which is cool, but at the same time, that game's 5 years old. It's like,
Yeah.
And it's, they didn't rate
as
it
of right now. It looks
so
like
but it's Smash Brothers though.
Yeah,
like,
so at least
yeah,
it's not
still
Mario
Smash
Kart.
Brothers.
And I think they were gonna do an Animal Crossing one, if I'm not mistaken.
Tears of the Kingdom currently is like almost at 20 mil. It's like 19.
Almost. I thought it was over
That's crazy
20.
because I didn't think Tears of the Kingdom had a chance to even come close to Breath of the Wild sales, which I think Breath of the Wild's up to 30 now.
And then, let's see.
I did not. I don't know why. I just guess I didn't have faith, and I figured a lot of people bought Breath of the Wild based on the hype, but didn't actually like it and weren't going to buy the sequel. But
Breath of the Wild is at
hit.
Yeah, 31.
That's a lot of hype. 30 million copies.
It's like 31 million
because it hit
right
to
now.
the point where a non-Nintendo streamer was playing it at like the day it came out, and I'm like, why is she playing this? Like, she never plays Switch games. The only reason she has a Switch is one of her followers bought her one and sent it to her. Like,
well, that's I understand, but sometimes hype isn't just hype. Sometimes it's the goddamn
and
game.
she liked the game. She didn't love
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild that much, but she really was enjoying it, even though she was on the 4th temple with 9 hearts, so she just straight line. You
want to know what launch hype is? And it's not that it's a bad game. It's a game that most people weren't into at the point. Launch game hype is, or a launch window hype is Final Fantasy VII. There was a lot of hype around that game from people.
My goodness.
Watching the CGI trailers, thinking that was the game, and they just I gotta wait, I gotta hit somebody and then wait for them to hit me. Like,
dude,
what is
I bought my first computer from a guy, and he's like, "You want a PlayStation?" He's like, "I bought it because I saw the commercial for Final Fantasy VII, and I thought those graphics are amazing." And then I realized it was just the cinematics, and he was so bummed. And I was like, "No,
that happened a lot." I remember people all around me were like, "What?"
I mean, literally, I can tell. I was driving him home. He's living in a trailer park. He had a little problem with the car. It was not the guy everybody. No one really liked the guy. He was all right. I got along with him all right. And he's like, he sold me his PC. I paid way too much for it, but that was the first time I heard anybody say that. Well, then once YouTube became a thing and it became, gamers at large and talking to all these gamers and stuff, I've heard that story so many times from other people. Like, people.
It's real.
Know. So
it's real. People that didn't even touch an RPG in their life was all hyped up for Final Fantasy VII. It's like, this is an RPG.
How did you feel about 7? Was it living up to the hype for you after you played it?
Oh, you mean after I played it? I think it was a generally good game. I had a lot of fun with it. It has some kind of bullshit in the middle I don't care for, but like the game as a whole, I think was good. I couldn't actually, after playing that game, I was less interested in playing the remake. And then now, but I did play the remake of Crisis Core, which I thought was a pretty decent remake. I think for that game, that battle style worked. I was pleasantly surprised by that. The Switch version of that game runs really well, by the way. Although it feels like what I think it is, which is a Vita game blown up to a fucking to a console.
Just
So
like
I'm like,
with Gravity Rush remastered, I felt
PSP game, you mean?
I felt like Gravity Rush.
let me be wrong, okay?
Gravity Rush was a Vita game, and it felt like when you played it on PS4, you could tell. But
Yeah,
AV
people.
James
Oh yeah,
brought up
oh
AV
yeah,
James
totally.
brought up a good one, Punch Out. If you're ever gonna do a Punch Out and have it do well, just switch.
Punch Out, yeah.
Agile would have been a good idea too.
Golden Sun, I don't know. I don't know anything about Golden
I
Sun.
don't know what
Game
they're
Boy
going.
Advance
I
game.
think. Listen, I think Nintendo's gonna have
Was
to
Golden
find
Sun
someone.
that good? Like I
Wasn't
remember
it
playing
only
that
on the Game Boy Advance, or was it before?
Yeah,
It was almost on the DS. I think the
DS
sequel.
too. Yeah, there's a sequel on DS.
I
Yeah,
remember
The sequel was on the.
OJ's talk about that.
I liked it, but people talk about that game like it was the way they talk about what's the Zelda
careful.
like game on NES? It got two games.
He's about to.
Come on, you know what I'm talking about. But,
Ooh.
there's two of them, and they're like it's like Zelda, but in modern times.
I have no idea.
And people always thought, why don't they bring that game back? Oh, Star Tropics.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. So Golden Sun is like the Star Tropics of the Game Boy Advance, I guess. It's like
That's because
everybody's
like I said before, Nintendo, you gotta catch them on a weird. I think we had that conversation before anyway. The Nintendo doesn't really have a line of thought when it comes to what games they bring back. Because as I think we made a note of it, it was like the last Nintendo Direct. Here's another visual novel coming back from like the fucking DS era, and you're just like, a visual what?
Yeah.
Like when the detective thing came out for Famicom, and we were like, that? What the fuck is that?
what I'm saying, like what?
Live
That's what you're
Alive,
bringing up?
Live Alive. That was that Square?
That was Square.
That game is a
just
very. That's so. I'll be real with you. After playing that game, that's a very. Who you
Japanese
gotta be
game.
Yeah, you gotta be a certain kind of because it's one of those things where because it's all those short stories, it's like a little bit of gameplay, and then you go into the next story, and you're like,
I didn't know what the hell you were playing. I jumped into your stream like, what the hell?
It's such a weird. It's a weird experience.
I would have never guessed Live Alive.
Yeah, because I didn't know what I was getting into, bro. I there was one game where you just fight a boss, and then that's his story, and I'm like, what? Like that's it? Like. I don't know what possessed them to bring it back, whatever. The same way I don't know why Nintendo was like, let's bring back these visual,
bro. Why not?
Let's grab these visual novels, and I'm just like,
that's crazier than Live Alive is. At least people like I remember being hyped for Live Alive and then realizing it wasn't coming out over here. I was like, oh no. But at least there was that. But Famicom Detective, like really, like nobody would talk about that.
Dude, I don't even think you probably would. That's one of those things that you would find that one YouTube video from like 18 years ago talking about back in my day. You guys probably don't remember a game like Famicom Detective Club, and you just like, no.
Who are you? And
why do you remember what Famicom? Do you even play visual novels? No, but it was revolutionary for the time.
Could you read Japanese? Damn.
You know, like, what the fuck? It was just it's a weird even the one that they picked, the new one, was it the what's it called? Code? Is that what it's called?
Another Code, yeah.
Yeah, another Code.
That's a weird pick too. Like
the fucking DS in the Wii version, I think is the one that didn't get released in the States, and you're just like,
I love Trace Memory. It was one of my first DS games. I had a great time with that game. But wow.
Yeah,
really?
what egged any of this on? Like who the fuck was in the back like, hey, bring back another Code, huh? Damn.
That was a weird one.
It's a weird. It was a weird. Nintendo is weird sometimes, and that's like we got left field. Like Kid Icarus, that was left field when it was first like, hey, we're reviving that.
Another IP they could try to bring back on Switch.
No, I think unfortunately,
Ice Climbers. Where's Ice Climbers?
Man, that's what instead of bringing you Kid Icarus, they bring you Ice Climbers. That's what they would. That's what they would.
They would do some weird shit.
What anybody says that F-Zero 99? It was fun. I played it once. That's not enough. That's not a new F-Zero game. Like that's you can't even buy it.
Obviously,
you can't even buy it, so you can't own it. So it's already not.
You don't count.
Not saying it isn't fun and it
It
captures.
feels like a troll
Yeah.
for people like me.
I think
It
that
just
one
feels like a troll.
that one's weird because Nintendo's aware that people are interested in F
Yeah, they know
Zero,
people want F-Zero. They know
but
people want
like
Kid Icarus.
I think Nintendo's also weird about which I think the other problem is that
Mother
Nintendo.
3.
Well, here's the other problem. Nintendo also is suffering the issue of like having locked down developers for all their IPs. Like
Mhm.
the only reason why Metroid got somewhat of its resurgence is because they finally found a developer they trust to handle the Metroid IP that isn't
Right.
Retro Studios. Um, DK's still in fucking limbo because right now
Yeah, they're
Retro
probably all hands
Studios.
on for
They're
Metroid Prime
doing
4.
Metroid
So
Prime
now
4, right?
DK's like the best you get from DK is, hey, look, a remake of Mario and Donkey Kong from the GBA, and you're just like,
The 2D Mario team could work on a Donkey Kong.
I don't know, yeah, but I don't. I don't even know. When's the last time Nintendo has worked on a Donkey Kong game at all?
1993.
Yeah,
Damn.
because they didn't do the country games either. Any of them.
92.
Exactly.
92. I think Donkey Kong 3 came out.
That would, ironically enough, when we were having that conversation about how like all these studios were getting bought up, that would be the only reason why I would want Nintendo to start buying some studios to get some developers locked down for certain IPs. Because DK, I think, very much is a victim of not having a steady developer. He always shifts from like a developer after like maybe a couple of games,
Yeah.
and now he's in the back like, well, I guess I'm gonna go be in this tennis game real quick, or this fucking.
I mean,
or
I get it. Like, get partners. You got Bandai Namco out there. They want to make stuff. I just said Star Fox. Give it to the Ubisoft guys. They clearly want to do a Star Fox game, and they do a pretty cool job. I don't expect Nintendo to make all this stuff. You know, they can only do so much with the teams they have. So I
think-
totally get
I
that.
remember that the rumors of the 3D Donkey Kong game before E3, was it this year? Or the year before?
Yeah.
I think it was the year before.
Yeah, Lenny Wright just brought that up.
So the other side of this, or the other part of this, is you have all these games selling huge 20, 30, 40 million.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it matters. Doesn't matter what the Switch 2 is. I don't think they're gonna be able to recapture this. Like even if it's just a really, like, the Switch 2
I disagree.
is like everything we wanted the Switch to be. It's just like a perfect version of the Switch. I just don't think it's gonna catch fire like this again. I don't know.
I think if the Switch 2 comes out and it has Steam Deck power, maybe a little bit better, and it can do multiplats really decently, I think it might end up being better than the Switch. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what a lot of people want. A lot of people, they accepted the the lesser ports and whatnot, and they got a lot of the cool indie games and stuff. It was great to play indie games on a dedicated console because that was mostly a PC thing before, and it was cool to have that. I think if you get a Switch that can run, like I said, multiplats very decently, I think you can really do what the Switch has done, if not better. I think you could.
Also, because I think Nintendo's brand recognition is like heavily increased.
It's better than it's ever been.
Well, yeah,
Probably.
half of the reason why these consoles are selling, the games are selling as well as they are, is because more people know about the console and its games. It's like everybody has a Switch, so when you're like, "Oh, I got Mario Kart. Well, I got Mario Wonder." You got what? Shit, let me go over there real quick.
Right.
Same thing even with the lesser IPs.
Imagine if you're like, I don't know, it's gonna be 6 years, but the new Zelda, new 3D Mario something, and it's like, someone's like,
3D Mario before
man,
we get 3D
I want to get that 3D Mario. They're like, oh, but Resident Evil 9's coming out. I'm gonna get that first, and like imagine if you're like talking about like the Elden Rings and the what's another big, like the Baldur's Gates, and something like a big massive third party game, and it's just coming to the Switch 2 at launch, and people can know that they're gonna get it, and they're gonna be able to play it, and it's gonna be a good version, and plus you're gonna still have all the Nintendo great games. It's just like I can't imagine that not being a success.
It has to be like it, because that's what everybody's always wanted. They've always wanted like we get the great Nintendo first party, and we get all the best third parties at the same time. That system is gonna be gangbusters, bro.
If
Like
we,
gangbusters.
my argument has always been, if we ever got a Nintendo system that did that, I don't know if I would ever buy.
I wouldn't even need another console.
That's
Yeah, I
why.
don't
That's
know.
why. Like
I don't know if I would buy a second. I wouldn't have a secondary
Yeah.
console.
I
Realistically,
thought about buying the Steam Deck OLED until I thought about the potential for the Switch 2, which I think's coming in next year. I'm like, as soon as that comes out, if that's what I think it's going to be,
Yeah, you may not even
I'll
want the
never
Steam
need
Deck.
to touch the Steam Deck OLED. Because
Right.
as good as the Steam Deck is, the hardware seems solid. There's still that question of if the game's gonna run on there. You know, like if it, because at this point, I don't know of any game where developers specifically.
There was that question.
I saw
But
T's face.
just
go,
like I watched a
There
video
was
on.
that question.
I watched
I
a
saw-
video
I saw
on
T's
Hogwarts.
face go,
Hogwarts
huh?
Legacy doesn't run very good on there. Returnal doesn't run. It's not even playable on there. You know, so there's still some games that you have, because they're not just dedicating time to, all right, we're gonna make this for the Steam Deck, but for the Switch 2, you trust that, like, they're gonna do that.
What I was gonna say, but they are starting to do that now. A lot of companies are optimizing their games for Steam Deck. A lot of them are doing that now. So
Yeah, but you know, if
that's what happens when you sell roughly 5 million units. You know, the more you get out there, the more, because if you look at the stats, it's crazy how many, because you can tell what Steam owners are playing games on, and the Steam Deck is like way up there as far as what people are gaming on, as far as when they play Steam games. So companies are paying attention to that, and they're like, we need to optimize our shit to play on Steam Deck, and so that's starting to happen. There was a time where I don't know if that was going to happen, but now that is going to happen. That is happening.
You would assume
games are getting better.
If the Switch 2 is as capable as we think it is, and the developers, they got to port it. It's not going to be x86. They can't just copy paste. They got to actually port it. And we've seen developers put out shitty Switch games, and they might still do that even if it's way more powerful. You still might get a crappy version of Mortal Kombat 2 or whatever. But I just feel like a game, if somebody's going to put in the effort and they're going to like make the game for the Switch 2, I feel like that's going to, even if it's lesser powerful than the Steam Deck, I feel like it's going to have a leg up over a game or whatever the check mark is. Yeah, it's check.
Yeah, because they have of course.
And it's not, it's just running directly on the system and stuff. So that's what I told the guy at work when he said if Nintendo released games on PC, everyone would just buy a Steam Deck or the ROG Ally or whatever to play Nintendo games. And I'm like, well, the Switch 2 could be less powerful, could be cheaper, and the games could actually run better because they're being developed directly for it. Like, it doesn't have to be a PC game that you never know what you're going to get with a PC game. Even with a powerful rig, you might have issues playing a game. So I think, but anyway, getting back to the idea, like,
Switch 2 is already here, bro.
Those feel like they're secure because the way they detach looks like.
Yeah, they don't detach great. That's because Nintendo has a patent on the rail system for Switch.
That looks like that's not holding on that well, but
no, it's on tight. It's on good. That's not a problem at all. It just doesn't slide the way you expect it to, coming from a Switch. And it's like, oh, you gotta put it in there.
I hope the Switch 2 ain't that thick. Let me tell you that. That's a thick boy.
Oh yeah, this is thick. And that fan, boy, woo! That fan, but you think this bitch about to take off?
Oh
but
my God.
I don't know, man. I think
take flight.
what have we seen in consoles? We've seen the PS2 do 150, then the PS3 did 80, and then we've seen the PS4. I don't know what that's at, 120.
What, PS4? Let's go look.
120. I don't feel like the PS5's gonna get near that. After 3 years, it's like under 30
Why
million.
did I type that? That was stupid. Let's see.
I just think it would, to me, the chances are I don't know what I'd put the chances of the Switch 2 doing as well and games selling as well as the Switch 1, because I don't know. I'm kind of looking at the casuals like, oh, I got the Switch. Yeah. I'm good. Like, I don't need the next one. But those are the same people who upgrade their phones every couple years, so you never know.
they're gonna get Switch 2 or Switch Plus, whatever you call it. Nintendo, as long as Nintendo, markets it correctly and say, "Hey, this is the next version. You need to get this." I think all those 30 million people who bought, Breath of the Wild will come back and buy the next one or
I hope
whatever.
so. I just kind of I feel like I don't know that the Switch 2's like
They just
but
also, it's youth as well, young like kids, also are Nintendo fans. Like a lot of obviously a lot of kids got Switches, and they're getting older now. They're in their teens. They're in their early 20s. Some of them, and now I got my own money. I'm definitely gonna. What's the next Nintendo thing? As long
Also,
as
the
Nintendo does
PS4 is
not
at
botch it, then they'll be fine.
the PS4 is at 117.
Yeah,
and that
I thought it
that
was
thing
120.
had a great start, so it's like the PS5 don't have a chance of getting to that. But I'm sure it'll still be between 80 and
Oh,
100.
they fudged the numbers. They can do whatever they
Yeah.
wanted to do.
Yeah, we just bought a bunch of portals, man. We got fucking another 25 mil.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
think I'd be curious if that's, maybe $1 million.
Well, this is the rumor that I don't know if put too much stock in it, but the guy was saying some Japanese what do you call it, like what's that dude that
Investor?
Nintendo fans hated forever
Oh, I forget his
uh,
name. I don't want to remember. So
with the glasses.
he was
and
the
he had those
investor guy. He
Oh,
looked at
Sam
Nintendo.
Seltzer.
yeah, huh?
He looked
No,
at
the
he looked at Nintendo from an investor standpoint, right? As a
Oh,
company to
yeah.
invest in.
well, that's his job. He was
Yeah. And he made the
analyst.
dumbest
saying?
statements.
His
Is it
It
Michael?
was terrible.
Michael
Yeah,
something.
Michael Pachter.
There we go, Michael Backer.
So I guess this guy's like a kind of somewhat Japanese version of him. So that's why you got to take what he says with a grain of salt. But he was saying that he was the one that was talking about Sony kind of fudging their numbers. They're they have a bunch of stock apparently, and that's it's not selling as well because the hardware market is plateauing. There's no growth in the hardware. Microsoft figured that out, pretty early on, and I think everybody else is starting to. But he was saying that basically Sony has a lot of stock, and what was the one thing he was saying? That they're fudging the numbers as far as what they're actually selling to what they're shipping. I think they
Right.
always kind of done that. It was
Yeah,
like,
they have.
they're counting the shipments as sold hardware.
Yeah.
And I guess that's
They've done
I
that
guess
with
what
games,
I guess
too.
it's starting to, it's catching up. It's catching up to the developers because they're telling developers and whatnot or publishers that they have this many consoles out there, and then that influences deals. Well, we got all these consoles. We need let's make this deal to make our game exclusive, i.e., like Square and Final Fantasy 16. That's around 3 million units sold, I think, at this point, and that was a huge disappointment to them because they were sold that there was a bigger install base that would buy their game. So
Technically, the first 2 years that sold to stores and sold was probably the same. But yeah, now that they're in the store shelves.
Yeah.
Damn, only Final Fantasy 16 is only 3 mil.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah.
That's pretty
That's
low.
insane. Especially, they changed a lot of stuff in that game to make it more marketable, especially to the Western audience.
Selling PS5 games. I don't.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Other than Forbidden West was they bundled. You could only get the PS5.
But if you have 40 million PS5s out there, as they say, and this is like a hugely hyped game. Obviously, it's an exclusive. It should do better than 3 million after what? 4 months now? 5 months? 4 months?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, 6 because it came out in June.
6 months? Oh yeah,
it came out in June.
Yeah, that's right.
Once the install base gets to a certain point, just like your subscribers, like I feel like the sales, good selling games at about 10% the install base. But early in the generation, usually it's higher because people won't need games to play.
Actually, the dropout's pretty bad. So right now, Spider-Man is the best-selling PS5 game at 5 mil. Elden Ring is behind it at 3.6. Final Fantasy 16. Actually, Final Fantasy 16 is the third best sold game on the console. And then after that, it drops to like 1.4 million for Demon Souls, and then 1.1 for Ratchet and Clank.
That'll change by January because it'll be Call of Duty. It's going to be
Yeah.
It's going to be Call of Duty. So
It's just like, yeah, I mean, if that's physical and digital combined,
Yeah.
you know, that's for you know, honestly, for a 40 million install base for Sony, that's pretty good. You know, that's pretty good numbers because I think they're usually like their best selling games are barely over 10. You know, like I know some of those games somehow got up near 20, like The Last of Us. I feel like the original Last of Us or one of those games, Uncharted 4 or
they
something.
bundled the shit out of them games.
Yeah,
That's why they got there. And that's fine. I mean, that's still a sale. That's how you
like when we bought our PS4s, they came a physical copy of Uncharted 4, and now it's now
physical copy.
digital.
Yeah.
Like I gotta say like I think Xbox and Sony both had good Black Friday deals. Xbox was $4.50 and Best Buy gave you a $50 gift card, and
Nintendo was much better.
The PS5 Slim was
usual.
Was the Slim plus Spider-Man 2. It was digital, but Spider-Man 2 for $4.99. That's a $70 game that just came out. And I commend both of them on what they did. Nintendo did better. You know, it wasn't just Mario Kart. It was Smash.
Right. The bar was very low.
Yeah.
Yeah, extremely low. My foot can get lower in it.
They did do better than what they normally do, so you got to give them some credit for that, I guess.
The irony is that this is Nintendo not trying and still selling like ridiculous, and I'm
still surprised at how much the OLED took over the sales in Japan, especially because they always update those every week. I thought the OLED would just be kind of like the side thing. No, it's the main. It's been the main.
No,
Switch,
I mean, of course, I'm not surprised because Japan's probably the market that plays it mostly in handheld.
I thought the Lite would do better in Japan. It didn't.
That's true.
The Lite didn't.
I think the Lite would have did better if the main Switch was more console focused, but it's not. The main Switch is just as strong as a handheld, so it's like you only get the Lite
had an OLED screen.
Oh,
but it was $100 cheaper.
It was cheaper.
Yeah, but I think $100 wasn't enough of a difference for them to be like, I'm gonna bite the bullet and just not.
Be careful who hears you say that the Switch is Nintendo views it more as a handheld, because some people don't.
Well, because it's like, why would I gravitate? I mean, that is a thing you buy for a little kid. The Lite. You don't like. Because you don't want them, first of all, you don't want them taking up your TV playing Switch. So you give them something they can dedicate, but obviously it's cheaper, and that's what you would give them because they don't need to hook it up to a TV. They can just carry it around with them all the time.
Small screen.
The Lite was never going to be, because the Switch is already portable. Like you don't need.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. That's why I said if the Switch was more console focused, the Lite would have been more appealing because of that. But the Switch
some of those games, even the standard Switch screen, the text was hard to read. And you're talking Xenoblade Chronicles 2,
and you're making it smaller
with the Lite with that tiny screen.
Yeah.
So I can imagine what Xenoblade looked like on the. Oh my god.
So I think the OLED. If anything, I'm glad because this shows Nintendo, hey, keep doing that.
Yeah, we all got the OLED Switch here, all three of us. Yeah. I said it in the chat. I don't know if I'm buying the Switch 2 at launch if it doesn't have the OLED option. Like, because you know it's coming, and it's like, unless it's like the best LCD screen, and it's like,
you would
I think if it's a Lenovo Legion Ghost LCD screen, or I guess the Raw Gala, people say that's a really nice looking screen too. If it's that level, I don't think you would miss, because I look at my Steam Deck and I look at my Steam Deck OLED and I look at the Lenovo, and there's not that much difference as far as clarity.
Just want some hand-on previews before he even thinks about it. He like,
the Portal. Everyone says the Portal screen is really, really nice. So I mean, a good LCD screen I'm okay with, but it's like the OLED just takes it to the next level, especially if they opt to do like the HDR, enable the HDR and have that extra brightness and contrast.
Yeah. The problem is the original Switch LCD is crap. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just not a. It's not a good LCD screen to begin with. So.
And yeah, I just think at this point with how the OLED's selling, to have a Switch 2 come out and not be an OLED would be. I think
it would be a step back.
It would be confusing because, like I said, this thing, the OLED, has just been the dominant seller to the point where they put the bundle out with the OLED this year. Last year it was still the standard Switch with Mario Kart. Now they're like, oh.
So a flaming Nintendo fanboy make a video dissing the Steam Deck OLED, saying Valve copied Nintendo by calling it the OLED.
What?
You complete utter moron. He thinks
What?
Nintendo came up with the word OLED.
Whoa,
it's a selling point. You gotta have it in the title.
That's wild.
You can't just say, you can't just let people know, or just
That's
like,
such a wild
it's the
statement.
Steam Deck. Here's the new Steam Deck, and
How
then
you
have like OLED like there. You have to have it be the selling point.
how you gonna copyright OLED?
He made it a point to say
Nintendo has a patent on OLED,
That's
bro.
not
What
the
the
same
fuck?
guy who was
you know who it is.
comparing the Switch Portal to
don't say who I think
compared
it
the
is.
PlayStation Portal
I don't want to say his name.
to the Switch.
I need you to type it in the Hangouts chat, buddy.
Somebody ain't gonna name any names.
Yeah. He's got some bad.
He was
takes.
like, somebody opened up the portal and just showed the basic chipset it has, because all it has to do is it's got like a Snapdragon, basic phone processor. It's not even as powerful as the Switch. Why the fuck would it be as powerful as the Switch? It's just streams games. Why would it be as powerful as the Switch? Like, it makes no sense. And then it's like,
I'm opening it up right now.
but it's $200. The Switch Lite's $200. Dude, the Xbox One Series S is $300. The Switch OLED's $350. Which one's more powerful?
Oh no!
It's like, come on, that's just stupid arguments.
Oh god!
I didn't know the PlayStation
I don't even know who this is.
doesn't actually play games natively. What is this? The Wii U? What is this? Journalists talking about the Wii U don't know that it's a new system? Like, come on.
Exactly.
But anyway, it's time to get out of here.
Oh
I can't spell his name
no!
wrong, but you know who I'm talking about.
Oh no! What?
Unbearable. He used to love my channel, and then I made a couple of like Nintendo
I don't know who that is,
criticism videos, and he went off on me, bro. He got
I don't
he
know
was like
that
10
name.
videos on me.
I don't know that name.
T will explain
Good
it
for
to
you,
you.
Deuce. You don't. Yeah,
I didn't
we'll
know
talk
who
about it
Dr.
later.
Disrespect was till last week either. I've heard
That's
the name.
still kind of wild to me a little bit.
That's
but
crazy.
Okay.
I didn't know what he looked like. I couldn't associate him.
He has a very iconic look.
I've heard his name. Actually, the guy at
Very
work
iconic porn
mentioned
stash.
him.
That's
that stash is fucking iconic, man.
I'm not the guy. I just don't like.
It's an
don't
age.
follow the trendy stuff on YouTube, I guess.
I don't either, but I know who that dude is. Like, people talk about him all the time.
You gotta keep your ears open, man, just a little bit.
Like, who's the guy that was making his own game that you guys talked about? I was like, I never heard of him. He was the one yelling about, was it Ninja Turtles on NES? Getting all mad. He's like an old time YouTuber.
Oh yeah, he didn't know who Angry Video Game Nerd is.
I thought you were
That's
talking about.
wild to me.
I thought you were talking about
insane.
black nerd or whatever.
I'm like,
You're
how do you
such a-
exist on YouTube and not
You're
know?
such a gamer.
And
you
honestly,
don't
I
know
watched
who
that video,
AVG
and
is.
I would never watch another one of his videos. I was
Oh
like,
my!
this is what people are talking
He's
about.
like the pioneer of
He is
gaming
the
on YouTube.
pioneer
I know,
of
but-
gaming. That's
I don't
wild.
like him. I like to
That's
watch
like-
2 of his videos.
That's like
I'm
you
like,
be
I don't
the,
like this
you be
guy.
the type of dude and be like, who the hell is Jesus? And be like, I don't know who this guy is, man. Like, so, I mean, he could be the father of God or whatever, but I don't know who he is.
What videos have you watched? Because I will say his recent Angry Video Game Nerds videos just
I
don't
saw
hit.
the
They don't
Ninja
hit the
Turtle
same.
one, and then I saw another classic NES like
If
frustrating.
you saw the classic ones, that's why I'm offended.
Yeah, Ninja Turtle, that's classic. I'm like, what?
I don't know.
That's classic.
Giant.
Go watch his Batman one. The Batman ones are hilarious.
Batman.
The
Yeah,
Batman,
yeah.
the fucking Bugs Bunny. Good
I was
God.
gonna say, the one he fights Bugs Bunny, that shit had me dying.
It's so good. I I knew T would like him just because of the effects. You can tell that man's that man loves cinema.
Hey, I saw him doing his little effects, and I was like, my man.
Yeah, see,
film school student, my man.
I mean,
right.
I discovered Girlfriend Reviews like a year and a half ago. They already had a million subscribers, and I'm like, you guys see this channel? And they're like,
Girlfriend Review is more of like a modern thing, so we were kind of like, it's like,
yeah, I get it, but it's still they were pretty popular. And
I know. Listen, we're gonna get offended at the pioneers. We don't. I mean, the new one's fine.
He's like a pioneer. I followed the whole saga with him.
Do you, wait, I have a question. Do you know who the
irate gamer? Remember him? That fucking copycat.
Oh yeah. Wait, I have a question. Do you know who the nostalgia critic is?
No. Nostalgia critic, yeah.
Never heard that.
What do you mean?
I've never heard that name before.
You love movies, sir. Damn. What? Oh, that's crazy.
Come get your man. Somebody come get him right now.
That's wild, bro.
What?
He literally,
Nostalgia critic? What does he do?
What?
He movie reviews of old movies. God,
I think you would like him a lot, actually. I'm surprised.
God damn it.
Oh, man.
That's crazy, Juice. Jeez.
Do you know Peanut Butter Gamer? No,
get out of here. Get out of here.
He don't know me. He don't
I know
know
he's not gonna know who Peanut Butter Gamer is. That's a whole other
nostalgia critic, right?
Nostalgia critic.
Why did I click? I searched and I clicked and it went to channel is awesome. What the hell?
That's the name of the channel.
Oh, is it?
I'm impressed at how
awesome.
They still are.
Yeah, Channel Awesome.
Never heard.
Channel Awesome, yeah. What, bro?
That is kind of crazy, bro. I'm not gonna bullshit you. That's kind of what. That's a little wild. I just Doug Walker. Have you never heard the name Doug Walker?
He has a video on Mrs. Doubtfire that was recent.
Him, you kind of have to watch his old stuff too. I'll be real with you. Like
yeah.
Him when you're an OG, unfortunately, the new shit doesn't hit the same way because standards have risen and half of the reason why I would argue AVGN a little bit more than Nostalgia Critic, but they had production values like way up.
I wonder what he thought of the Mario Brothers movie.
He has that on there too.
I can't delete it. God dang it. Oh, there it is.
I'm a little baffled. I'm not gonna lie. That one I think I'm more baffled because you're such a movie guy. So I forget.
Yeah, he's a movie dude, and shit is funny. It's him and his brother. I think they do the writing, most of the writing.
Yeah, they do.
And they are still sharp. I still crack up watching the videos, and it's
that
funny.
one. That's like from 2000 and what was that?
It's like 2008.
7?
I wasn't on YouTube till about 2012. Or no, when did we come out? 2007.
2013.
2007. I made the channel.
12. It's 12. Yeah, I'm gonna say 13.
And Wii U was when I really started. I didn't watch a lot of YouTube.
Hey man, it's different generations.
I never watched a lot of YouTube. It was certain people I watched, and I would watch angry video. I didn't watch much of anything back in those days, other than like AVGN and Nostalgia Critic. And
I don't think I subscribed to people, and basically until the Wii U generation, I was looking for people who had the system and were talking about it. Like I think that's when I started.
Then you started following NW Nation and
NW Nation, baby.
Active Gamer Life was an early file or subscribe of mine, and
what was he back then?
Who?
AGL.
What his original name was?
Yeah, he had a different name.
Oh, fuck. What is it? I didn't get into Crumbside gaming content until like I think around the 360 Wii era, but I didn't like
2011 for me.
I couldn't fully invest because some of these people are scandalous as fuck. Like that's you just.
Right.
I'm trying to think of what I watched on YouTube before.
I wish you were around in the days of when Crumbside gaming was the most toxic it ever was. Because
I remember watching Digital Foundry's tech I remember probably 2010 to 11, 12 era. That's when Digital Foundry would show the 360 and PS3 version of a game. I was trying to decide. I was still curious about which one to get, just checking. And they didn't do any narration. It was just video clips. That's some of my earliest memories of gaming YouTube videos.
Yeah, I think AVGN I think he doesn't hit. I- Here's the thing about AVGN, like he he cared more about the Cinemassacre stuff. Like he cared more about the nostalgia critic type of stuff he wanted to do. He wanted to do movies and all this kind of stuff. He cares way more about that than he cared about AVGN, the Angry Video
Yeah,
Game Nerd
agreed.
character. But
Agreed.
that's what blew up. The Angry Video Game Nerd character is what blew up. So he found himself having to do that kind of content, and at this point especially he's kind of over it. Like but he just does it because it still gets hundreds of thousands, not millions of views.
I would
So
say
that's why his heart isn't in it as much
it
anymore.
has to. It depends on what the subject matter is, or if he can turn it
Yeah.
like the Berenstain Bears one. They turn it into that whole esoteric ass like
Yeah,
I
what do they
think
call it? The Mandela
yeah.
effect.
I
That
think
was a
that
good
one
one.
worked. That one worked
Yeah.
because A, it was like something in his childhood, and B, it was
Yeah.
something he could kind of turn into something else. Like I think the
Yeah.
reason why Batman and Bugs Bunny work, those are all old school things in his childhood.
Right. Once he
But
got
like
past all that stuff, now it's just kind of like he's
I
just
will
kind
say
of going through the motions.
the Earthbound one was really good because I think he genuinely loved that game, and he
Did I
was
miss that?
yeah he
Oh
did
no,
the
no,
Earthbound one.
that one was good. That one was good. Yes, you're right. You're
I
right.
think if he finds something that captures him, he's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Every once in a
That-
while, he'll drop
you gotta
something like that.
you gotta
yeah.
hit that passion. But yeah, fucking I
But-
would
but-
love
But Big Rigs, the Big Rigs one, come on, bro.
Ah!
Big Rigs had me dying, bro.
You did,
You gotta watch the Big
quick
Rigs
question.
one.
You know about Big Rigs, like in general though, right? Just like the game, Big Rigs.
You don't know about that game.
You don't know about that fucking game? Damn!
It don't
I'm
matter.
just talking about-
It don't
I'm not
matter if you
talking
don't know
about-
about it.
What
It
was
doesn't
it
matter.
on?
It was on PC.
Oh.
PC.
PC.
It's
Yeah,
this
it don't matter
it's-
if you don't know about the game. That episode, if you don't like that episode, I
Big Rigs was
I can't help you. I can't help
Big
you.
Rigs was hilarious because people, it wasn't just him, but there was like a bunch of different YouTubers
Yeah.
just had their way with that game.
Hey,
And that game, that
game is
game, yeah, that
unbelievable.
game.
Unbelievable.
Is it better than
With that-
Gollum?
no,
No.
no.
No, Gollum's better. Because Gollum is a game.
I think the fun. I think there's like a what was that glitch where like you could just go back one?
No, don't do it. Let him watch it.
Oh.
Let him watch it. Please watch it. Please.
I want you to go look at Big Rigs.
Lenny wants to
Man,
know what the YouTube algorithm. I mean, if I go to my home feed, there's
I know
gonna be
people in the
probably
chat.
a lot of possibly football stuff. Yep. PlayStation Portal, Napoleon movie review from Angry Joe.
But you watch video game stuff, right? And you watch Angry Joe.
Best-
I'm surprised
QLED
he don't pop
yeah,
up in your algorithm.
but actually, respect. You should know about Nostalgia Critic just because Angry Joe used
Angry
to be
Joe,
associated.
yeah.
They used to be
Really?
associated with. To be fair, it took me a while to realize that. I had to go back and find that out because I didn't know that initially.
South
Angry
Park
Joe got
with
one of my favorite
apologies to
videos,
Jesse
right?
Jackson reaction.
My favorite Angry Joe clip is the one where it's the only clip where Jeff Keighley looked smart.
Yeah,
He tried to
I knew it.
he tried to
I knew it.
he tried to
Keighley.
corner Jeff Keighley in like
Yeah.
it was like one of the game awards, and Jeff Keighley was on his ass the whole.
He was on, yeah.
and
Jeff
you were
Keighley had
just
him that
like,
time.
we were like, damn, Joe, fight back. Like this is
Man,
this is
he got you.
sad.
He got you.
He got you bad.
We gotta wrap this up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice
you
little
mentioned
trip back
Ride
to
to
the
You
Hell?
have to send me a
Oh
video.
no.
Oh, right to hell. That's another one. That's another one, bro.
Ooh.
So yeah.
You gotta school this man on
next
some
podcast
AVGN.
I'll have watched a couple of those videos, but
I need you to at least watch. Yeah.
but
We got
anyway,
recommendations.
We'll get out of here. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Peace. Yeah, we gotta do some AVGN and